Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here, and it's New Year's Day, January 1st, 2026. And the Raptors lost to the Nuggets last night, shorthanded Nuggets. And, I'm sure all kinds of people are falling out all crazy about the game last night. And yeah, there was some things that happened, but we'll go over why it happened and what happened and, be realistic about it, I guess, is the best way to kind of pick up the pieces after such a disappointing thing that happened last night. But the lessons are there. It's a young core, and we move on and we go forward into the new year and see the promise and the fun of games that are coming up for the Raptors and how they can be. So yeah, we'll just have to, learn from it. As Brandon Ingram said after the game, is much better to have this game now than near the end of the season or in the playoffs, just to learn from. And he had a very interesting attitude about what happened last night as the person who hit an amazing last second shot that was just a split of a hair too late. As Brandon said, he should have maybe cut his fingernails. Is what his response to what happened last night is. I should cut my fingernails. Either way. All right, let's see what's going on. Trevor Jason first with his words of wisdom. Gratitude is thanking God after it happened. Faith is thanking God before it happened. I like that. I like that. Gratitude is thanking God after it happened. And you know, faith is thanking God ahead of what happens because it's coming. That's awesome. I love that word of wisdom. So yeah, have gratitude and faith in your life to be ready. Yeah, to be ready. Guys, I'm wearing I said last year I would do this thing where I'm going to try and wear a different Raptors shirt every single day for the first like 100 days of 2026. And today I'm taking the hoodie that's not really skeletal, but it kind of looks like skeletal. It's a fractal hoodie of the Raptor dribbling the ball logo. That it will be my number one, just to represent rebirth of a new year, starting over, and kind of what happened last night. And we're just coming in and starting over for the new year. Even though our record's really good, 20-15, and we're the fourth team in the Eastern Conference right now. It's awesome. Yeah. Trevor's saying this that referee Zach Zarba stole one last night. We all see what happened. We're watching. I agree with this. I put it in the title that we got grinched last night. I feel like this is true. I mean, we got Josh Tivened. Yeah, that's something that happened last year too. There's a game that exactly the same thing that happened last night happened to us earlier last year in the season with Jamal Shed against Orlando. I think it was Orlando we were playing that day. And Jamal hit a last second shot, but it didn't leave his hand exactly right away. It was like a 1/10 of a second still on his hand. And Josh Tiven did the same thing. He said, "The shot's no good." And the game was over. This is especially annoying when we're the home court team. Like if we're on the road and they do this, in some ways it's like, okay, yeah, you didn't win. You just leave and the crowd doesn't care. But when you do this on a home court where the fans see it and they experience the shot happening and like woo, and they get all jubilant and they're like, yes, yes, because that was an epic shot that Brandon hit there. I mean, this is crazy. They had less than 3 seconds. It all lined up just exactly right, except for it was just a 10th of a second too late. And I mean, I'm not going to dispute that he didn't get the shot completely off and that the call was right. I'm not going to dispute that. That's not what I'm going to say this morning. What I'm going to say is something that it's just wrong. It's wrong. And I'll tell you why it's wrong. Somebody would say, whoa, whoa, Lex, but if you're saying it's legal and it's like, it's just wrong. And you know why? Because in some ways, this is symbolic of how the NBA has changed since I was a little kid. And it's not good. It's not going in the right direction. Sure, some will say, well, they have more chance to see exactly what the call is and get it exactly right. But sometimes it's not about getting it right. Sometimes it's about entertainment. Sometimes it's about, feelings and, building your brand. Why would the candy man give free candy to the kids on a Saturday morning? Why would he do that? Because he wants them to come back and spend more money coming back to the candy store to buy more candy. He gives a couple little free candies out to little kids. They're like, "Oh, I love going to the candy store on Saturday because on Saturday morning I can get free candy." And you know what, mom? I'm going to bring a little bit more and I'm going to buy some too. That's the thing. NBA, your product is supposed to be entertaining and make people feel good, not supposed to make them feel like they got cheated or robbed. Not supposed to make them feel like, well, this is just not very fun. Because that's the feeling you gave the people at the Scotiabank Arena last night. Well, this isn't very fun. The NBA used to be all about NBA action. It's fantastic. We used to have highlight shows on the weekends hosted by Paul Jones's little brother, Mark Jones, that would be just crazy buzzer beaters and bloopers and, crazy good dunks. And some of it was fun and some of it was Shaq and a Fool. And some of it was just amazing athletic talent of the NBA on display, doing things that nobody in normal life can do. That used to be an aspect of the marketing of the NBA. But for some reason, they don't want to make the NBA fantastic anymore. They want to, I don't know what the fuck. In some ways, look, you're at home in Toronto. That is a buzzer beater. And if it just, if you don't have all the technology you have, if we're playing this game 20 years ago, that is an overtime game. That game goes into overtime. If it's just Zach Zarba eyeballing it with his eye, with none of this bullshit with the replay center, because the call on the floor it was good, right? You don't have any of that review. You don't have any of that little aspect. We're going to get zeroed in right on this and this and this and look at it. No, in the past, in the 90s, that game would have gone into overtime when the NBA was better, when the NBA was more entertaining, when the NBA gave the fans what they wanted instead of some convoluted, crazy ass marketing scheme thing and this bullshit. Like, seriously, this is something that pro wrestling could teach you, Adam Silver. This is something pro wrestling could teach you. You gonna do this like where you have a Monday Nitro and you got Sting and Hulk Hogan fighting in the ring, and yeah, they'll go off air and say, "Oh, they're fighting right at the end of the show. Sorry, fans, we got to go off the air. You tune in next week." Well, do they turn the wrestling match off live in the arena for the people that are in attendance, even though the TV crowd goes away? No, they don't. They finish the match with Hogan and Sting fighting extra time after the show went off the air, and the fans in the arena get the fun of the off the air dark stuff. This is what I'm saying, man. Don't tease us. Don't tease us. When Brandon Ingram does something amazing and stupendous, why do you wipe it off of the history books? Why do you take a talented, amazing gift that Brandon Ingram just showed you and did, and it's like so split second, just too late? In the old NBA, you would have given that to us. Maybe a little home court favor of a tenth of a second, and then we'd be going to overtime. But no, Zach Zarba's got some sort of New Year's Eve plans or some bullshit. Guys, sorry. Or maybe the replay center people are like, this is how you get them. Yeah, we wanted Denver to win anyway, and well, we'll just call it like right here. Because honestly, the home team is favored in overtime if it goes to that point. And I'm not saying NBA storylines or anything, but yeah, NBA storylines. They don't want the Nuggets to lose too much while Jokic is out. But it's like, why are you such a killjoy? Why can't you give the fans the excitement of the shot and the adrenaline of it? But no, you kill it. And you make people feel like it's stupid and messed up. So it's like, yeah, it's dumb. It's like you guys rob the joy of the game for the people in the arena. And how do you get return tickets if you're going to make people feel cheated? That's what I'm trying to tell you right now, NBA. How do you get more business? How are you not turning people off from it when they see this kind of shit? Because I'm telling you right now, if this had happened in the 90s NBA, eyeballing it with none of this review, there would have been overtime last night and the ability for both these teams to continue and see who is the better team in 5 minutes of overtime. This is where, in some ways, the technology adding to things is not necessarily adding to the product being better or more entertaining. In fact, it's sucking the soul out of the game because it's just so rigid and so by the book and so by this. In some ways and sometimes you got to fudge it a little bit just for the feel of what it is and what it should be. And the NBA failed on this yesterday. Because seriously, I get it that legally he did not shoot the shot exactly before the buzzer, but it's so fucking close. You could have given us just a tenth of a second, right, Zach Zarba? Just a tenth of a second, you motherfucker. I mean, seriously. You want to send the fans home with good feelings and happiness? You know, if we lose the Nuggets in 5 minutes overtime after that shot, they don't feel as cheated. They don't feel as like, oh, look at what they just did to us. Because everybody went crazy when he hit that shot. And that building, you want to build that energy. You want to build that woo, and everybody, yeah. You don't want to be, and like, what is this? Seriously? You really got a big New Year's Eve party you got to get to, Zach Zarba? You can't do an overtime? No, man, I can't do an overtime, Raptor Streak. I'm sorry. I've got some hot chick waiting for me on the west end of Toronto in an Italian restaurant. Yeah, sorry. What the fuck? Seriously. I mean, I'm not going to deny that's not the right call, but maybe it's not the right NBA, is what I'm saying right now. It's like buzzer beaters, amazing shots. This used to be like video cassettes you put out on VHS back in the 90s. Buzzer beaters in the NBA. They can take, this kind of shit, corporatism and big time money, profiting, sports betting, all this kind of mentality and this kind of capitalism and shit sucks the joy and all the good soul out of everything good in this world. And in some ways, pointing to this shot that Brandon made last night is exactly that. Exactly that. I mean, the old NBA, if Zach Zarba used his own eyeballs and that's all he had, he called it as a legal shot and we're going to overtime because that was the call. The call was the shot is good. But no, they had to go and look at it and be little killjoys, little bitches, little Grinch ass motherfuckers. And yeah, I told y'all that ref crew was not nice. They weren't. They weren't nice the whole game. Fennessy and Robert and Zach Zarba. Zach Zarba is a dubious guy. He's one of these handsome dudes. He'll be nice to your face, but he'll screw you over in the back. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's how I look at it, man. Brandon's casual about it. They asked Brandon, it was like, well, how do you feel about that? And he's like, I'm already over it. I was over it when they announced that it was no good. I'm like, okay, I'm just looking forward to the next thing. I'm going forward. And Brandon had the right attitude. He's not going to blame the refs. He's not going to blame, he'll blame his fingernails, maybe a little bit, but he's also blaming, we don't need to be in this position at that point in the game to be at this point scraping to get to this at the very end. We should have done more during the game so that the margin's different and they don't have to manage the game in this crazy desperate way where they're trying to make a three with 2.7 seconds to go at the end of the game. No, Brandon said, no, we need to make more of our free throws. We need to make our rebounds and we need to make our open shots. And then we're not in this situation. And he's exactly right. Once again, the Raptors are a shitty shooting team for most of the game. And then they start and try and claw back and be comeback kids at the end of the game. It's stupid. It's the dumbest way to try and play. In some ways, I get it. Darko Light said that they have a confidence that they can do this if they have to do this. And we don't want to have to do this, Raptors. Like, don't get in this situation regularly as a normal thing because it's stupid. We'll spot the team, other team 10 points, and we'll ride behind them 10 points behind. And then in the fourth quarter, we'll try and overcome them. This is what the game plan is, these last 3 games. Well, it worked 2 games, but it didn't work last night. And it's like, why not, like, beat them from the start instead of giving them the lead because y'all are shooting so bad? There's a lot of different reasons why they lost last night. In some ways, one of the things I said about the keys to the victory yesterday was exactly true. That the team that has the most guys that are contribute to help you win will win. And when only 3 or 4 people are actually playing well on the other side, well, you're going to lose. You got 7 guys contributing, doing 7 things to help you. And there's only the other side, there's only 3 guys scoring, and that's it. You're going to lose. It's about a team and a team contributing, and you have to have a team of people to contribute and not just 3 individuals doing all the work like what happened last night. I mean, really almost all the points for the Raptors last night came from the 4 guys from Barbecue and Brandon. Almost all the points last night. I think we scored less than 20 points the rest of the Raptors last night. You had Brandon, Scotty, RJ, and Emmanuel all scoring their part, and then nobody else scored jack shit for the rest of the team. So how the hell, like, even if they don't have Jokic, which Jonas was a suitable fill-in while he was out there and still available, he did a lot of the stuff. Like, he was dominating us in the first half. And Brandon let it know. He's like, yeah, we knew we were going to have to deal with Valanciunas. And, I forgot that they were teammates for a long time. So Jonas and Brandon are very familiar since Jonas was in New Orleans playing for the Pelicans with Brandon as a teammate. So Brandon knows Jonas very well. And there was a little bit of shit talking on the court between the two of them. I saw it. But yeah, Jamal Murray, not even the big stellar guy. Like he didn't drop a 50. It was more Patrick Watson and other guys chipping in and doing different things to help with a more team rounded effort from the Denver side. And then the Raptors bench just can't do jack shit off the bench. They're not scoring, doing nothing. You have to have a team to win. This is a team sport. And that's why teams that have just one really good superstar and nobody else, that's why they don't win. That's part of why they don't win right there. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. All right. Let me see what you guys are saying right here in this chat here. We'll do the stars of the game. We'll do all the stuff we do on this channel very, very soon. Let's see. Yeah, Trevor's saying this is kind of what I was just saying. The starters, he's meaning to say the starters, spell correct. The starters did their job, but the bench didn't contribute. When Scotty put up a triple-double, we should win. Yeah, Scotty had another triple-double. This is actually history. They're saying last night that no Raptor in the history of the Raptors has ever put up 2 triple-doubles within 3 games. So he did it within a 3-game span. He had one on Sunday against the Warriors, and then he had one in the didn't have one in Orlando against Orlando, but then he did have one against Denver. That's a pretty good achievement, pretty good achievement. All right, yeah, let's go look at the box score real quick. My number one star of the game is Scotty. I believe it is Scotty, isn't it, Scotty? Yeah, it's Scotty. Getting that triple-double. 33 minutes for Scott Wayne. 20 points on 7 of 14 shooting, so 50% shooting. 2 of 4 from 3. Really, the 3-point shots he took were because they let him and they allowed him, and he had to take them. And he was 50%. He made all of his free throws, which is something I'm going to point out about the people in this one. Although we did shoot free throws pretty good overall as a team, 81%. 14 rebounds, 10 assists, 0 turnovers for Scott. That's amazing. That's really good. 1 steal, 1 block, a +6. Yeah, you can't fault Scotty. Scotty did a lot of good things on the court. Maybe he could have scored a little bit more. Maybe in some ways he has to be the one that directs the offense towards the basket closer from the start of the game. There's a certain point where it seems like in recent games, Scotty says, I'm going to put the big boy pants on, and I'm going to go down low, and I'm going to dominate whoever I'm going against. And last night it was Deron Holmes, the second, who's absolutely a strong player. But they had a little play where they inbounded it, and Scott got to seal on the baseline underneath the basket, and he just backs into the guy like he's a nothing, which I'm telling you, that man's very strong, Deron Holmes, and just puts it in. I mean, why can't you do this in the first half? Seriously, Scott, why can't you establish this shit earlier when all you guys are bricking threes from the outside? Why can't you go inside and first thing right off the bat from the beginning of the game? Because I'm telling you, you would give the biosphere, the ecosystem of 3-pointers for the rest of the Raptors a flourishing chance. Because they come out there and they just start shooting threes. Well, we've seen what they do. They're Brick City, and it's stupid. And it pisses me off because the logic of being a team that shoots so many 3-pointers, just because the league is like that now, even though your personnel and your product and your output is not showing that it's a right strategy, it just pisses me off. Once again, if everybody had jumped off a bridge, would you, just because they did? That's what I'm saying. We don't have to be like everybody else. And Darko, I would say let's like diversify our offense a little bit more to the inside a little bit more often. I mean, Denver was very successful going to Jonas very early and establishing a lot of their offense through their big man, making a lot of baskets, being a big boy in the lane, big science being dropped on the Raptors with a legend from Raptors time Jonas Valanciunas. I mean, why not start Scott inside right away, post him up, get it done, and see how much better the offense goes for the whole entire game after that. Because when you guys do this in the second half, it's insulting to me because in some ways it makes me think, why the fuck didn't you do that earlier? Seriously, why didn't you do that earlier? My second star of the game is the big shot, Brandon. That's right, Brandon Ingram. Wow. Wow. I mean, look, he's been bad from three a lot recently, and his 3-point shot's been but you know what I noticed with Brandon's three? It's no good when he's trying to dribble up to get it himself. He has to he has to be getting the ball from somebody else and catching and shooting. It's not when he gets the ball and he's dribbling around, he comes around a pick, any of that stuff. The shot is not as good. It's really when somebody else on the team collapses the defense and they find him. There was one shot that Brandon made in the corner from three that was it was a kind of a weird play where there was a miss and then there was an offensive rebound and Brandon relocated and IQ found him, dropped it off to him, and bam, he hit it money. I think that the ways that he shoots better are when there's a couple of other actions before him, just isolating and trying to go for it. It's kind of like, let things be a little chaotic and then find the ball to Brandon and he'll nail it. I've noticed that. Have you guys noticed that too? That Brandon, when he makes his outside shots, it's sometimes a second chance shot off an offensive rebound, or it's somebody like RJ driving the lane, collapsing the defense, and they're kicking it out. He shoots way better in those situations than just coldly being at the top of the key and trying to do a dribble around the screen and shooting. He shoots way better than 30 points for Brandon in 36 minutes, 11 of 21. He would have had 33 if Zach Zarba wasn't such a Scrooge McDuck. 5 of 7 from three, 3 of 4 at the free throw line. He missed a free throw. So you're going to blame himself for one of those points that they could have made. 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, -4 for Brandon Ingram. Yeah, heroic shit. The old NBA would have celebrated that and put it on blast and made it a highlight on ESPN Sports Center. But the new NBA is by the book and just by the millisecond. And who knows? Zach Zarba, you piece of shit. At some point, you'll be replaced by an android or a robot or a laser. Yeah. Yeah, that's what's coming. So you go ahead and fulfill the ways of the new protocol of very cold, stark AI drone world we're going into. And just understand this is the slippery slope, the beginning of it. The way this happened, this thing last night. Where's the human interaction, the human decision, the human judgment in all this? We're going to strip humanity from everything in this world before you know it with all this bullshit coming towards us. And Zach Zarba, your decision last night is symbolic of this. The slippery slope towards AI robotic world. It's so stupid. My third star and last star of the game, because I'm only doing 3 because they lost, is RJ. RJ, solid. RJ, a little bit more than the last time he played. 17 points in 24 minutes, 7 of 13 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 2 of 3 from free throws, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, a +9 for RJ Barrett. Yeah, just solid. RJ doing RJ stuff. And in some ways, he is a straw that stirs the drink and allows the ecosystem of the offense of the Raptors to be way more healthy and diverse, because that's what you want. You want a diverse offensive ecosystem for your NBA team so it keeps the other teams guessing. And RJ is an X factor at any given second on the court because he's just moving and he's in the flow. And in some ways, he's not predetermining things. He's taking the cues from what's on court, and he's doing what he thinks is next the best thing to do. And that's smart and that's badass. And the synergy between Scotty and RJ is undeniable. There was a point in the game last night where Alvin said the same thing I said at home, is that was Johnson to Worthy like. Because they can be in a tight space on a fast break, and you got Scotty doing Irvin Magic Johnson, and RJ's running the lane. He's James Worthy, and he's getting the ball just exactly right in the right rhythm from Scott that he can step through and make a crazy layup in traffic, and it's Showtime Lakers era looking 80s shit. I mean, that synergy between Barrett and Barnes is not easy to find, and it should be coveted by the general manager and head of basketball operations and the owners of the Toronto Raptors. That RJ Barrett and Scotty Barnes is a winning combination like peanut butter and jelly. And the synergy between these guys, the psychic connection, the ability to find each other and bail each other out, it's just top notch. And if it's just because they went to Montverde, if it's just because they just have a basic basketball philosophies that they overlap and share, that's a fantastic thing because it is a real synergy. And it should be valued and protected and wanted on this team for many years to come right now in this edition. Scotty is a franchise player. Well, RJ is a hell of a great right-hand man as far as running with him and all the different ways he can help him. And he does not hold Scott back. He makes Scott better. And Scott makes everybody better. That's the thing. I'll do an honorable mention for IQ because he did get 22 points yesterday. He didn't shoot the best, but IQ's still chipping in and trying to do what he does. 22 points in 34 minutes for IQ, 5 of 16 from the field. Yeah, it's not the best shooting, but the man still chipped in his points when nobody else did. 4 of 11 from 3. Nice to see IQ hit some of those threes. 8 of 10 at the free throw line. He did miss a couple free throws, but let's listen. IQ's been so good at the free throw line in the last month or so. He's barely missed any free throws. 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 0 turnovers for Emmanuel. Steele also a +1 on the court. Yeah, everybody. Why is it so in fashion to dump on IQ? There's no reason to do that. There's no reason to do that. All right, we got Infamous calling in, guys. Infamous 6 is on the Raptor Freak stream.
Hey,
yeah.
Salute, Lex. Salute. Good morning. Good morning.
Happy New Year.
Hope you had a happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you and all the Raptor fans. Everybody. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Let me get straight to business, Lex. You might not like some of the stuff I have to say.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. I'll react to it honestly.
But here's the thing. The shot did count. In my opinion, the shot counted.
Okay.
And here's why. I'm going to give you specifics why the shot counted. I want every Raptor fan to listen to this. This is straight from the NBA rule book. This is rule number 2, section 1. This is rule number 2, section 1. I'm going to read it to you. Okay. It says the clause of the NBA official rule explicitly grants any power to make decisions on any point not specifically covered in the rule. That's what's called, basically to break that down, it's called official discretion.
Right.
Now, the official discretion also covers game management. It covers, let me see what it covers. It covers incidental contact. That's also official discretion. Respect of the game. Referees have the wide discretion to assess technical fouls or avert gestures. It also covers flagrant fouls. But here's the key. Now listen to this part. This is the last part of it. It covers game management. The crew chief has the final authority to decide on the matter where other official timers or score disagree.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
So they have, remember, when that shot went off, the official had his hand up and said it counted. Right?
I think he himself called it as counting.
He himself has said it counted. Now, they do have the discretion. It's listed here under game management to make that decision. It's at their discretion.
Right.
So I'm quoting it directly from the official.
So what's your point? You're saying that Zach Zarba made the choice to end the game. That's solely what happened.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I mean, I can get that. I mean, it's New Year's Eve, and in some ways, I don't know. I really do feel like they know that in overtime the home team has an advantage, and the momentum, just like against Golden State last Sunday. The momentum would be with the Raptors after hitting a huge shot like that, and we'd probably take it home by then. But if they want to be technical and slam the door, I mean, because some people in the fan nation are saying there were different angles and different shot clock cameras, shot clocks that show different things in different places. Mm-hmm. And that somebody said, well, from our angle, it looked like he was clean and got it off. But then there was another angle that showed something a little bit different. You know, some people have also said maybe the shot clock was started too early. There's all kinds of different ways it could be. I mean,
Yeah,
my whole point
but
is,
that's where the official that's why I referred to the official NBA rule. That's why I went straight to the rule. I didn't go to
well,
anything else. I went
we
straight to
we
the
know
rule.
this. We know
Yeah,
this that in the
yeah.
modern NBA, if there's anything that happens in the last few seconds, like they're going back and checking whether people have their feet on the line for threes.
Hmm.
They're going back and checking any kind of last second shots to really make sure they've left hands. So this is something that they've been doing pretty uh
Yeah,
very often. But
yeah. But
I
how
would
often
but my
have
whole
we saw?
point was that it just
Go ahead,
takes
sir.
takes the fun away from the whole sport
Oh yeah,
and this
yeah.
kind of
It
stuff. That's what
does.
it is. It's just a killjoy,
It does.
you
Now
know.
let me throw a caveat at you. Do you think that if it was reversed, if this was in Denver, they would have done the same thing? I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. I think that, you know, this situation has happened twice to the Raptors in this year. It happened last year
Yes.
twice. It happened last night and it happened last season with Shed and Josh Tiven. And it was a very, very similar thing where the crowd and everybody thought, wow, we did it. And then it's like the ref
Right.
goes and takes and is a killjoy and just said, no, this isn't
Exactly.
what we see. I don't know. Like maybe in LA or in some other markets like the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, if this
They probably would
situation
have. Yeah.
happened to them, what do you think they would rule? Maybe. I don't know. Would they piss off the whole entire Knick crowd or the Laker crowd and say, oh, no, Luca and LeBron, you don't get this. There's not going to be any overtime. I mean, in some ways, that's going against what they're doing. These guys are millionaires. They make a lot of money. They
Yeah.
don't play a lot of time. They don't work a lot. Why not give them an overtime? Why not give the fans a little bit more? LeBron and Luca. In some ways, that like
Right.
it goes against the principle of like you're an entertainment product and you want to entertain people and you want to give them fun and give them something going on. Like, well, why not give us another 5 minutes a game? It's not really a big deal, and that shot in some ways should have been rewarded. That's part of it
Yeah.
too. You
Because it,
know.
it, it clearly states the crew chief has the final authority to decide on the matter whether other official timers or scorekeepers disagree. They
Well,
have the
I don't
authority
know.
to do
All right,
that.
first of all, I don't know if anybody was disagreeing. I think that maybe the shot clocks disagreed if they were slightly on millisecond off of each other. Now, what
Hmm.
he did was he went and he talked to Secaucus. And Secaucus is going to look at it, and depending on how they feel about it, they're probably telling him, yeah, that's too late. He's not get the shot legal. You should end the game, and the game is over, and Denver wins. Because
Yeah,
I don't
but you
think
see,
Zach
you see the
Zarba
key wording though.
I
The
don't think
key
Zach
wording
Zarba,
in
he is the one making the final decision. I think he's talking to them and they're talking with him, and he's just the one delivering the message from New Jersey.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, Lex, because in this rule book, I'm just going by the words. It said he has the final authority, though.
He's
It
the
didn't say
because
that
he's the lead
Secaucus has
authority
the
on
final authority.
site.
They have the final authority. The crew chief has the final authority
Yeah.
to decide. But let me move on to the next point.
Sure. Okay.
I believe that Brandon Ingram believed that he actually made a joke, and if you read between the lines when he said, "I guess I need to cut my fingernails," then like he knew,
Yeah.
he knew it was BS. But let me go on.
Yeah. He
This
said
loss,
straight up. He said straight up, I believe that shot went in on time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I believe, yeah, we all knew it went in, but like I said, that's why I went to the official rule book. But let me go to the next point. This loss is a good thing, and let me explain. Let me explain the reason why this loss is a good thing. If you look at the past couple games, we have been winning games where we think we could just come back and just just like you mentioned, we come in, a little bit lazy.
Yeah.
We think we could just turn it on at the end and win games, right?
Yeah.
This may take us out of that conundrum where we think that we can do this all the time.
Right.
This is not conducive to winning consistently.
For sure.
You need something like this to happen to maybe shake you up and say, listen, we can't play like this.
Yep.
This game, Lex, was basically this one makes me upset because this game was basically given to us to a certain degree on a platter.
Yeah, for sure.
We had no Jokic. There was no Jokic in the game.
Yep.
There was a bunch of injuries, a bunch of their star players out.
Yep.
And then even in the game, their center went out. Valanciunas got injured and left the game because he was killing us.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
He was killing us. So he left the game. So that was a little bit extra dessert
Well,
on the full course meal that you were given.
one of the
You should
crazy,
have been able to take this home.
the
Go ahead.
craziest things, and this is probably the thing that is piggybacking on what you're saying here, is like, yeah, Darko said that this team is confident that they can come back and win. In some ways, this is maybe a shake up to say, okay, you guys maybe should be taking care of business a little earlier and not let it get to this point. And then the other thing that was very interesting, and this is a stat that was talked about last night, is the Raptors are the only team in the NBA this entire season out of all 30 teams to win 2 games shooting under like 40% and like under 25% from 3. Like, they've shot so bad, but they managed to win 2 games that they had no business winning. And Orlando was one of those games on Monday.
Yeah.
And
It's not conducive to winning consistently.
no, it's not.
No, it's not.
But
it's not. It's a recipe for
But the
disaster.
flip side of that is that we have such a good defensive shutdown and such a good kind of thing going on in the fourth quarter that this can happen too. So it's like they start shooting better. The offense is more healthy and the offense is more productive and more dependable. This is actually showing a whole realm where we could be a very powerful, scary team if we just shoot better, if our offense was just better, because that defensive ability does not go away. And that is something we can bring every single night, whether our shots are falling. It's just if we can get our offense jumper cabled and getting more efficient and, not missing so many threes throughout the first half and getting into a 10-point deficit, we could be a very tough team to beat because we're showing a fourth quarter shutdown that is nasty. Like, we're telling 10 teams, no more. You're not scoring anymore to this quarter, and we're going to try and manhandle you to win this game against you. So
correct.
Yeah.
And to go to my next point, that was an excellent point, by the way. The coaching staff needs to take a little bit of blame for this too, as well. There was one play in particular that I noticed, and that was when it was close to the end of the game, and they had Jamal Shed and Jamal Murray, and he had he sealed him and had that quick layup. That should not have happened.
Yeah, that wasn't a good matchup.
You can't put Shed on Jamal Murray. Are you serious?
That play,
I looked at that and I said, what the hell?
That play was a very well-drawn play by David Edelman. And it was basically like the Raptors were expecting them to use more clock, but instead they did a last-second play. And they drew it up really well where he would use the size advantage on Shed and underneath. Because if you saw the rest of the Nuggets on that play, they were up pulling all the energy towards half court. And it was very well drawn out and a very, very well executed play. In some ways, you could blame the coaches for that matchup happening, but that was just a really, really smart idea for what they should do in that moment. I want to give.
I just wouldn't have had Shed. I wouldn't have had Shed on Jamal.
I don't know if they had that kind of choice in that moment. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe they should have had a different guy like Jacoby running around after him instead.
Jacoby would have been perfect. In that situation,
or Oshai or something like that.
Player, so they couldn't get the seal and they couldn't throw it over.
Yeah. I mean, well, it really was kind of a weird thing where like
it was a good play.
They were fronting him like Curry on Sunday, and then he just used his gravity and able to just sprint towards the basket, and they just threw him straight to him almost like a lob. So, but yeah, I want to say this in inverse of what you just said about the coaches. We saw something last night out of Darko that I had not seen really the whole time he's been coaching the Raptors so far, where he did a lot of very specific coaching chess substitutions in the last 5 minutes of the game for defense and offense and rebounding and special reasoning. Like they literally had Jacoby and Jamal come into the game just to make sure to get a foul, to protect fouls on some of the other guys because they were close to fouling out, go in and get the foul. And Jacoby just came in and got the foul. And that's all, both those guys came in for, but they were doing a lot of interesting switching in and out of personnel in the last couple minutes of the game last night that I thought he was doing really good at because it made sense. Like bringing in Battle when he brought in Battle right then, and then like making defense and offensive subs. Like they were really playing some coach's chess at the end of the game last night. They really were. There was a lot of different kind of weird scheming and substitutions that David Edelman and Darko were playing against each other. It was very interesting.
Yeah, but I do get that, but in a sense, I kind of look at it like it was substitutions you had to make because you had both of your two players had 5 fouls on them, so it'd be kind of, I don't know. I wouldn't say, for lack of a better word, idiotic to keep both of them in and to risk that 6 foul.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, some coaches,
it was necessary for them to do.
Some
so
coaches,
I don't know if I can really give Darko
no,
that much
no, you
for
should, because some coaches fall asleep at the wheel and they don't pay attention and they do dumb stuff, and the guy gets fouled out all of a sudden. He was protecting things. I really thought he was doing an amazing job, and he was getting them switched in and out, and he didn't just do it like a couple, like sometimes you just do a one or two time offensive defensive sub switch at the end of games, depending on which way the ball's going, you know. But no, he did it not only for that reason, but he had a sub for like Battle to come in to space the floor, sub for this to do this. He was really like doing some interesting stuff at the end. And I like that because he's also shown a big pattern in recent years of going with just the 5 guys, and they're going to close the last 5 minutes, and they just play the whole thing out, that 5 guys. So I like that he was diversifying and using more of his dudes at the end of the game for specific strengths of each of those players and what they're going to do out there. Like, it is smart for him to have IQ out there at the end for offensive reasons, and then maybe Shed coming in for defensive reasons. So, correct. But anyway, Infamous.
Let me move on to my next point.
Sure. Maybe this one, and we'll move on if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. My final point is, and this is just constructive constructive criticism. Listen, I hate to say it, quickly has got to get better with his processing, man. I don't mind taking the shots. I don't mind the shots. Shots are going to fall. Shots are going to come. You're going to hit shots. You're going to miss shots. It happens, right? But his processing sometimes I'm looking at it and I'm like, what are you doing? Because especially the shot when he comes down the court, there's nobody underneath the basket to rebound. It's early in the shot clock, and you pull up for a 3. I get it. You can't keep doing that. I'm sorry.
I honestly haven't been seeing him doing that in the last 2 weeks, though. He did it earlier in the season for sure. But to be honest, I don't think I've seen IQ do that in any of the games recently.
He did it in tonight's game. He did it tonight. He did it in tonight's game. He did it one time that I saw.
I don't think he did it where there was nobody back, though. I never saw that. He shot those shots, but he hasn't shot them where nobody's back. That's what I'm saying. I did not see him do any quick transition threes where nobody had a chance to get back underneath the basket. I did not see that last night.
Here's what I think. Again, I'm not Darko. Darko knows way more than I do. I'm not trying to say I'm better than Darko. No more than Darko. I would like to see Scotty take over more of the quote unquote point guard duties at the end of games. I'm sorry. And it's not an indictment. It's not an indictment towards Quickly, because I do like Quickly. I think he's just working his way through a tough period right now. I'm not going to pile on him and say he's the worst, like the fan base is doing. I think that's completely unnecessary. But I just like to see some, like you even mentioned it. You said that we can't just keep going through the same plays at the end of games to try to win games. I think we need to change it up a bit and try some different things.
Yeah, I mean, every game's different. Like, if we're specifically talking about the Denver game last night, I think, like Brandon said, they should have rebounded better at certain times instead of giving so many second chance shots to Denver. They should have, there were probably a lot of open shots if they had made during the game. The margin of the game would have been a lot different, and they're not struggling to come back at the end to just try and, do it. There's all kinds of things they could clean up throughout the entire game. And I don't know if it's necessarily, the thing I would like in what you're saying, and we don't even have to have IQ involved in this, is I would like Scotty to be more dominant more and more. Like, he's already going towards more and more dominance here and there in different ways, but I feel like he could still go to a whole other level of dominance as far as, like, I'm taking over this game and I'm going to score like the next 4 baskets for the Raptors. And I want to see this kind of stuff come from him. And it may not necessarily be Scotty. Like, may not. I don't even really necessarily want to see him pass it. I want to see him do it himself. You know, because I feel
Right,
like
right,
he's such a really good offensive player in the paint and the mid range now that he should be doing some stuff at some point in his career where he goes off on a string of possessions for the Raptors where he's hitting the shots himself, and all of a sudden he's got like 15 points in the last 5 minutes.
yeah, he's done it a couple of times this season. He's done it a couple of times in a few
Yeah, but
games this season.
even like, and you're right, he has. He's shown these flashes, but it's building. It's building. It's like he very much shied away from like anything big when he was younger, and then he's like starting to pick his moments, and then now it's starting to it's building. But I feel like I want to see this more and more come into fruition more and more as the season goes on because I feel like there's so much there that the
So much better.
Raptors could have success from. And
Right,
it's really just Scotty because like look, there's another thing I saw with Scott last night that was really good. He went through the lane, he got hammered, he yelled, but he still used his strength to finish through, and it didn't matter whether they didn't give him the foul call or not because
correct,
he
correct.
in the past he would go in there and he'd get a little hit and nobody would call anything and then he'd drop the ball, turn it over, and they're running back the other way. This time, last night, there was a point where he went through the lane. He had Denver Nuggets on both sides of him. They were throwing at him arms. They probably did foul him. He did yell out, but instead of getting distracted and not finishing it, he went through with strength and made sure the basket went in regardless. That's the
Right,
stuff that he needs to make sure happens because you
right.
can't count on the foul call and them seeing anything like fouls on you, you
Yeah.
know. So,
And Lex, I gotta ask you this one question before I forget.
yeah.
We got to talk about the elephant in the room, buddy. We
Uh,
got to talk about the elephant. Can you explain to me? Maybe you have a better insight than I have my opinion, but I'd love to hear your opinion on this. Why did Mo Bamba not even touch the floor last night? That's very strange.
And some people are talking about this today. I mean, he's once again, and I warned everybody about this with Mobamba that you know, whatever your expectations for what you think Darko should be doing with Mobamba, just stuff it. Don't do it. Because we don't know anything about like I've used the analogy of an iceberg. How much of the iceberg is above the water and how much of the iceberg is underneath the water and you don't even see it. There's a whole aspect of this team and practice and how the players are doing that is the huge underwater part of the iceberg that we are not privy to. It has to do with practice. It has to do with meetings and tape meetings and coaches talking to players, looking at their metrics. And it may very well be that Darko was not totally comfortable with Mobamba's comprehension of what we're doing to an extent that he felt comfortable playing him out in the court last night. We've got to understand coach's discretion on this is informed by so many more things than just what the fans think or see in their heads that these guys are getting together and they're talking to him and they have to analyze whether they feel like Mobamba is grasping what he's supposed to be doing, and then they can feel more comfortable about playing him. Now, against a team like Orlando is a little bit more chaotic and not as good offensively, you could maybe get away with playing him for just a little while on that game. But then, like with the game last night, you know, Denver, even though they were missing a lot of their good players, they have a system and a culture, and they are obviously one of the best scoring teams in the league because even without Jokic, they were able to score like crazy. So I don't know. That's what I always say about this. It's like even though it seems like it's so easy to just figure out for Raptors fans and Raptors Nation, there's a lot more to it behind the scenes that we don't get privy to, and that may
Oh
be
yeah.
part of the right there.
And thank you for your time, Lex. I don't want to hold up
Hey, no
anybody else
problem.
that
Happy New
has
Year,
yeah.
Infamous. And
Happy New
I
Year to you,
appreciate you
and
calling
vote
in,
for
man.
Scotty.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your
Don't
time.
forget
I
to
glad
vote
you
All
just
Star,
spent this
people.
time.
That's right. That's right. All right.
Yes.
Let's go, Raptors.
Go Raptors.
That's right. All right, cool. Good stuff by Infamous, bringing up a lot of different good points about the game last night. I think that's interesting. His point about Zach Zarba is the buck stops here, and he decides whether the game goes on at his own discretion. Yeah, well, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, let's see. All right, Evelyn's here. Good to see Granny Evelyn. Granny Swag in the house saying Happy New Year, Raptor Freak family. It was so good to see you, Evelyn. I hope that 2025 was okay for you, and 2026 is even better. is such an amazing, blessed year for you, Granny Evelyn. Yes, our granny swag. Trucker Kaz is here. Good morning, Lex and Rat Free Crew. Happy New Year's. That's a nice sweater, Lex. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's kind of interesting in some ways. I'll wear it today. I'm going to try and wear something different every single day for the first 100 days of the year. Maybe I'll even go further because I think I have more than 100 Raptor shirts. So we'll have to keep track of them. Scott B's here. Wow, we got an original Raptor freak from the West Coast. Scott B checking in here. I was there. We got fucked. He was at the game last night. That was an incredible shot. Definitely, it was in time. Listen to that right there. See Scott B with his own two eyes. He saw it. He felt it, and the jubilation. I'm just saying, it's a killjoy. And then it's like, come on, the old NBA would love those kind of feelings and try and build them. You know, why wouldn't you want to reward the excellence of Brandon Ingram to be able to do that like that, Adam Silver? Seriously. You want your players to be like that and go all out and have huge highlight shots and crazy buzzer beaters. But no, you're going to rob the Raptors of buzzer beaters when they get them just a tenth of a second too late. See, that's the thing. The old NBA, that would have been eyeballed as good, and we would have played an extra 5 minutes. That's the truth. You can argue with me about whether that shot was legal or not, but in the old NBA, when it's just referees and not all this replay checking, they would have seen it, eyeballed it, and called it just like they did, and we would have gone to 5 extra minutes. And that, honestly, what is the harm in that? Honestly, other than oh no, the Raptors might win the game or something like that, or no, what is the harm in that? You giving more entertainment value to the people that paid tickets to come there? I mean, seriously, let's think about this. And what are you teaching the fans that are there? Like Scott B. It's like, I bought these tickets. I came all the way to Toronto to see this game. And, we got screwed over. And it's like, well, I don't want to feel cheated. Maybe I won't go to Raptors games anymore. Like, seriously, that's the action in some ways what y'all did last night. You turn people off. Like, if it's a casual, somebody who's never been to a Raptors game anymore, it's like, wow, this was so much fun. But man, do I feel like cheated in some sort of weird way. Like, you want to make people feel cheated? NBA? Is that what you're doing? Is that what you're trying to do? Is that the business model y'all have? Is this the marketing strategy? It's like, oh, we'll increase business by making people feel screwed over. I mean, seriously, where's the marketing plan in that? It's fucked up, man. Kaz is saying, I'm cooking right now. All right. Yeah. We'll be cooking on a New Year's Day in the morning. That's right. Kespero is back. Let's see what he's saying right here. Not sure how legit, but there were screenshots that the shot clock on the court may have been out of sync with the Jumbotron shot clock. They followed the one on the court, which hit 0. That's interesting. But they always used to keep stopping our games for clock malfunctions all the time, and they didn't consider it this time out of all the times. You know, those people that sit at the booth next to Herbie, those are our shot clock people. And you see them. There's a lady and there's an old guy with the white hair and a beard and glasses. Yeah, these are the shot clock people. These are the people who are in charge of all that. And they work for the Raptors. They don't work necessarily for the NBA completely, because there are home staff that takes care of all that. Of course, they have to be on the up and up and by the book. You know, that's the thing. You know, what are we going to get to at this? Like, I just say, I've made my points on why I feel like this should have been let go and just say, that's a split. That's like that's not even a second. It's a tenth of a second. It's a tenth of a second. And couldn't there be some sort of leeway on this, Adam Silver, for excellence, for talent, for drama, for encouraging the storyline or the whole thing about it, since you are sports entertainment and you're not totally true sports competition? You can mold things a little bit better and make it more fun by leaning into the fun of things instead of killing the fun of things. I mean, I'm just saying, Casper is saying he's seen different angles on that clock right there. That's right. Let's see what else you guys are saying in the chat this morning. Scott B saying, we are from Toronto. That building will be filled regardless. And MLSC and the NBA know it. That building went nuts. Bullshit call. I'll send you some live shots. I nailed it and got it off in time. Yeah, I won't deny that. I wanted the same thing. But when I saw that the Zach Zarba wanted to kill the game right then and there, it was like, well, that's just how it is, man. That's just how it is. Troy Henry saying this, damn, what an embarrassing game. We missed so many open shots, even some simple putback rebounds. Yeah. Yeah, that's annoying. Like, I'll go back and let's look at the other guys. First, we'll give some excellence to the other side. The kid from Kitchener, 21 points on 6-18 shooting. He wasn't even all that. Like, he was advertised to be a 50-point scorer. No, he wasn't all that. They did have 5 guys in double digits for some balanced stuff. Jonas, before he got hurt and went out, was 17 points, 5 of 6 shooting, 7 of 8 from the free throw line, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and 3 blocks. Jonas playing like, he's a valuable backup center, but no, he's a starting center caliber too. And he did he didn't make them miss Jokic too much, did he? Because he filled in a lot of kind of the things he does, even though not the crazy passing. Although he did have 4 assists, you know. Peyton Watson, their leading scorer, 9 of 19. He didn't even shoot that great. It's not like they shot the lights out. They were 43% shooting, but we were 37% shooting. We took 100 shots and made 37 of them. That is awful. 12 of 45 from 3, and they were 10 of 34. So both teams shot bad from 3 even. And the free throw line was pretty much the same too, although they got 13 more attempts at the free throw line than we did, which in some ways with the star power on the other side, I'm like, how the hell are Spencer Jones and Peyton Watson get into line more than people like Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett? In some ways it's like, look, that's messed up. So, yeah, we'll go and look at the rest of the Raptors in the box score. Ochai Agbaji starting last night. He didn't play a lot of the game. He got 11 minutes, 2 points, 1 of 2 from the field, missed his only 3-point attempt, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, a -5. They just went away from him. Like, I guess, I don't know why. I mean, in some ways, Agbaji should have played more or something, or they just didn't feel like playing him. I don't know. Sandro was weird, man. Sandro didn't even score last night, guys. And he's been such a steady contributor for the Raptors, whether he's starting or not. 0 points for Sandro in 12 minutes, 0 for 5, 0 for 3 from 3, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 steal, 1 block, a -12 for Sandro. One of the worst plus minuses on the team. Just a very weird off night for him. And well, without him, I mean, like I said, the 4 starters scored most of our points. And then the rest of the team, it was like 14 points from 7 guys. 14 points from 7 guys that took the court for the Raptors last night. That's not enough contributions. And on the Denver side, just enough, where they had 5 guys in double digits. And then the guys who didn't get double digits, you had a 9 from Tim Hardaway and 8 from Bruce Brown. And then 6 was the lowest score from the other side for Spencer Jones. Meanwhile, we got 30 from Brandon, 20 from Scotty, 22 from Quickly, and 17 from RJ. And then the rest of the team, 2, 2, 0, 0. And then a 6 from Colin Murray Boyles. And that's about it, man. Jamison Battle, 6 minutes, 2 points, 1 of 2 shooting, 1 rebound. It was kind of a putback that he got the score, which was great. That's fantastic. Colin, 26 minutes, 6 points on 3 of 11 shooting. See, Colin shot horrible too. Like, he's close up. He should never be shooting like 3 for 11. Dude, you're right next to the basket. You're missing gimmies is what you're missing, man. You're right next to the basket most of your shots. You got to clean that up. You got to convert, bro. You're strong enough and talented enough to finish through NBA talent. Well, 3 for 11 right next to the basket is no good, Colin, and you missed all 4 of your threes. In fact, I didn't like how many threes Colin Murray Boyles took in the last 5 minutes of the game. Like, that is not a good shot selection when the game is close and we're trying to come back. That's not good. That's not the shot we want. Alvin's called it out in the announcing last night. That's not the shot we want. Yeah, Colin shooting a 3 in the corner. That's not the shot we want late. That dude needs to drive or give it up to one of the other guys. Seriously. But 9 rebounds for Colin, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 2 steals, and 2 blocks, a +12. The rebounding is still fantastic. Fantastic. 5 offensive rebounds for Colin Murray Boyles last night. And he's given us extra possessions, but that's just another extra possession to miss another shot. We could give us like 3 offensive rebounds in a row and we miss every single fucking shot after we get the ball back over and over again. It's really deflating. These guys need to execute and make their shots. It's messed up. Jamal Shed, 21 minutes, 2 points on 1 of 8 shooting. Y'all going to come after IQ? You better come after Jamal for the same thing. Seriously, this man had missed all of his threes, 0 for 4 from 3, 5 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, a -6 for Jamal. Jacoby Walter, 23 minutes. That's a lot of minutes, guys. 2 points. That's all you could get, Jacoby, was 2 points. You've been getting 18. You've been doing so much better recently. 1 for 6 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3. Are we seeing a pattern here? I mean, if we take Oshai and the bench, this is what they were from 3. 0 for 17. 0 for 17. Everybody other than the big 4 for the Raptors missed every free pointer they shot, and they were 0 for 17 as a group. You could blame these guys for why we lost. Seriously. You can blame everybody who isn't on a big contract on the team for why we lost last night. Trevor's exactly right. The starters got it, but the bench didn't do jack shit to help them. A 1 for 6, Jacoby, seriously. And then Grady, you were in there for 12 minutes. You got a big fat goose egg. You were 0 for 2, taking 2 threes that were honestly open, and you should have hit them. And those are deflating, and boom, the rest of the team is just missing threes left and right. Left and right. These guys missing all these threes. 1 turnover for Grady, a -7. So it's like, that's it right there. We need more contribution from more guys throughout the team, throughout the rotation. I don't know if AJ Lawson called up would have done better than any of these guys. Maybe he could have dropped a 18-point game to help the bench be having scoring. I don't know. Darko, you may want to go look and see if AJ or Elijah could come in and be a steady hand to give us consistent points off the bench for the Raptors. I don't know, man. It's bad. It's embarrassing, honestly, that 0 for 17. Everybody other than Barbecue and BI. 0 for 17. And the other guys, it's not like they shot the lights out as a group, the 4 of them either. Let's see, 12 of 26. 12 of 26. So they shot almost 50% from 3 between Brandon, RJ, Scotty, and Emmanuel. So, man, it's really that, man. The bench didn't give him jack shit. Didn't give him jack shit. That's it, man. Yeah, Troy Henry saying, oh yeah, I already read that. Scott B saying Patrick Watson killed us. I was like, who is this guy? Well, he's a young player for them that's been rising up over the years. He's not totally young anymore. He's actually been in the league for a few years now, and he's just maturing and getting to new levels for sure. Infamous salute. Thanks for the call. Happy New Year's to everyone. Scott B saying this also. I missed Easton was definitely why we lost for sure, but we tied that game. I was right behind the guy. Missed Easton. Denver took the paint away. We couldn't get in the paint in the first, and when we did, we missed easy ones. Jonas was a bully all game. He took it to us. Yeah, credit to Jonas Valanciunas, Raptors legend, filling in admirably. And wow, what a gutsy team. The Nuggets had not lost 2 games in a row until the 2 games before this one, and I don't think they were trying to lose 3 games in a row. So credit to their team and their culture, even though they're missing pretty much their most important players. Amazing that they did this. Honestly, it's a testament to their culture and their team and what they're doing as a franchise. So, I mean, I can give them some credit for good things like that for sure. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and happy New Year's. Yesterday was a very winnable game, and we're being clowned because 4 of the Nuggets starters were out. Yeah, that's all. You guys can build the story up in your own mind as bad as you want to. I hate that. Apply it to your own life. If you really want to point out all the really negative things in your life and key on them, you will be miserable and you'll be more unhappy because you think that you're in a detriment. You don't have to do this. Basically, 2 teams took the court last night, the Denver Nuggets and the Toronto Raptors. It doesn't matter who's there or not. They're 2 teams, and the minutes will be filled and shots will be taken on both sides. If Raptors Nation people want to fill it out and make it more melodramatic and make it more this and this, oh, it's so bad. I mean, go ahead. You did the same damn shit when we lost to Brooklyn and Washington last month also. I mean, why do that, though? This is the thing. This is the NBA, and there's professionals. And these teams are not trying to lose no matter who's out. So it's hard. It's hard every game. And everybody can say, oh, they would have been this or this. Maybe we would have beat them if all those guys had been healthy. And it would have been the inverse. Because who knows? I'm not saying that they slacked just because they knew all the Nuggets guys were out. Maybe in a little bit, in some ways, it's natural to kind of feel like, yeah, we should have this because Jokic is out. And maybe you let your guard down a little bit. But who's to say if they had Jokic, if they had Aaron Gordon, if they had Christian Brun, or whoever, that we wouldn't have met the match and beat them in a game with all that too. This is the outcomes of the NBA are just the outcomes. And there's just the NBA. You play the games and you see who wins. But, anybody who's coming down on the Raptors for losing to not the full Nuggets, well, that's stupid. This is the NBA, and the NBA players are on these teams. And you can build it up and make it more melodramatic in your own mind. That's your own damn fault. That's just adding to your own suffering. So I say wipe the clean. That's a game that we learned something from, and we got to tidy up things, and we need better contributions from the whole. And we can't wait till the last minute to turn the assignment in. We've got to do the work on the assignment earlier and not just cram for the exam right at the last minute of the game. That's part of the problem right there. It's like y'all waited too long to try and take the lead and then get the lead. And in some ways, the way this NBA is with screwing us over, you got to have a 10-point lead in the last 5 minutes of the game to ensure victory if you really, really want to win for sure. But if you're down by 3 with 3 seconds to go, well, that's not the right place to be as far as the margins and where you're going to be to try and win. Although we did get robbed on that last shot for sure. So, I mean, it's all how you want to paint it in your own head. If you want to make it sound worse, you can go ahead and do it, Raptors Nation. But we just lost to the Nuggets. The Nuggets are a top team in the West. Who cares who was there or not? They're still a really good team. Fiercely saying this, see how crucial it is to make the free throws? The 2 misses by CMB would have sealed the game or at least given us a lead. Bruce Brown being called a bum for missing his 2, but they still won. Yeah, that even Bruce Brown was helping us out. We had Jonas missing free throws when he was in earlier. He missed a free throw. But yeah, Bruce Brown missed those major free throws at the end. Like if I'm really looking at who missed the free throws for the Raptors, 4 free throws were missed last night. Colin didn't take any free throws last night. That was the game before he missed. Emmanuel missed 2. RJ missed 1, and Brandon missed 1. So those are the people that missed the free throws last night. Where 4 free throws were missed. That's not really enough to make it up. In some ways, I'm not going to blame the free throws exactly for this game. It's more the open shots. It's more the open shots because free throws, we shot 81% from the free throw line. That's acceptable. That's acceptable. There's going to be some free throw misses, and if there's only 4 free throw misses, that's way better. It's really the bad three-point shooting, 27%, and the bad shooting overall, 37%. That is the real problem for the team last night. That is it really, really there. Let's see. Granny Evelyn in the house. I know. It's awesome. Kaloy saying this. Happy New Year's to my favorite online community. Happy New Year's to you, Kaloy. In fact, I want to go over real quick, guys, a special presentation on the Raptor Freak stream today. We have our top 10 dunkers of 2025. The final standings for the Raptor Freak channel for 2025. The dunks contest is over. We're starting a new recalibration 000 for everybody across the board on dunks. So start for this year if you want to be the dunk champion like Kareem Thomas. Well, get it going right now. And let me go over the top 10 real quick in dunks for this year, last year of 2025. Here are the top 15 dunkers from last year. And Kaloy is number 15. Kaloy, you got 103 dunks last year. You're number 15 on the ranks. Tied for 13th is myself in Stargate. We had 114 dunks last year between Stargate and I, 114 each. Tied for 11th, we have Blackhawk Neil with 117, tied with Milbester. Milbester and tied at 11th with Neil for dunks. Number 10 on the dunk list for last year, is Adriana. Adriana got 130 dunks in 2025. So she's number 10 on the list. Number 9 in dunks from last year is Monique. Superfan Monique Lawrence is 144 dunks for 2025. She is number 9 in the top 10. Number 8 in the top 10 list for dunks last year is Fiercey. Fiercey Salsera, MJ, you got 148 dunks last year. Number 7 on the dunk countdown, Sergeant Wayne Strainer, 168 dunks. Number 6 on the dunk countdown is our commissioner of fun, Trevor J., the lifestyle man down in Fort Lauderdale with 177 dunks for 2025. He's number 6. Number 5 on the dunk charts for 2025 is the Smooth Brown Man, the trivia champion from 2025. Reggie, you got 193 dunks this past year. Now, the top 4 were all over 200, and these are the top 4. Shaq Lindsay, number 4, 262 dunks. Fantastic job by channel member Shaq Lindsay getting number 4 on the dunk list. Number 3 is the Sheriff, Seymour Pape, out in Calgary with 279 dunks this year. Number 3, and tied for number 1. We ended up having a tie for the championship crown this year. Both these guys are the dunk champion for 2025. Kareem Thomas and Isaac Campbell with 359 dunks each. I did not count that dunk that Isaac tried to give Kareem right at the end of the stream yesterday. So congratulations to our 2025 dunk champions, co-dunk champions. This is just like when Terrence Ross won his second dunk championship because they were co-dunk champions. Kareem Thomas and Isaac Campbell. Kareem has now got 3 dunk championships, and Isaac has his first one ever by tying Kareem. So just wanted to take a little moment to go over the top 15 dunkers of the Raptor Freak channel for 2025. There you go. There you go. If you had your name called, congratulations. You got a lot of dunks on this channel. You got at least 100 dunks, and only the top 15 got 100 dunks. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Troy Henry saying quickly and Colin missing free throws just shifts everything. Yeah, it hurts the momentum. But as much as I said Colin missing free throws clutch against Orlando, because that's the game where he missed the clutch free throws and it was a problem. 3 out of 4 misses right at the end. Ooh, but we still won by 1, just barely. He's lucky. The problem I see is the missed open shots, the missed threes. Like we're getting wide open threes and they're just not going in. These guys got to make their shots, man. That's the biggest problem right there. The free throws, they're important and we need to make the free throws, obviously, but that's just all the time. But the shots, the missing of threes and missing so many shots is the real problem right now. Kaloy saying this, seeing great signs from the team yesterday. I predict we return to the 9-game winning streak form, all thanks to RJ. RJ is essential. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we move different with RJ in the lineup. And we have way more confidence. And, part of it's Yak, too. We get Yak back in there when we're running with all those guys together. Woo-wee. 9-game winning streaks. 9-game winning streaks. That's exactly right, Kaloy. That's right. Fiercey's got RJ on blast. I like it. Kaloy is saying also, why didn't Darko play Bamba? He could have limited JV's production. Could he have? Could he have? I don't know. I don't know if anybody's strong enough to handle Jonas on the Raptors team. Maybe Jakob, if he was out there, he could have maybe handled him. I don't know if Mo Bamba could have handled him. That may be part of it is like, I don't know. You guys, we can ask why the hell did Mo Bamba not play last night and wonder about it all day. And like I said, it's we don't know. We don't know why he didn't play. It could be a very good reason if we knew it, but it may not be good for the public to know the reason. I don't know. The sign I'll say is really good is Mo Bamba sitting next to Garrett Temple on the bench. He's not sitting down at the end of the bench like Chris Boucher and kind of disconnecting himself. No, he's engaged. He's a willing student and he's trying to learn. And he is, look, all signs are pointing to that he wants to do his best for the Raptors as he can. Maybe in some ways this is a ploy by Darko to build him up, to be like, yeah, you really want to play, don't you, Mo Bamba? You want to prove that you're going to stay on this team? Well, you're not playing in this game, but maybe you'll play in the next game. Ooh, I get a chance in the next game against Atlanta. Ooh, I'll show you, Darko, and you'll have me on the Raptors for the rest of the year. I don't know. Sometimes coaches do that. They'll DMP a guy just to get them hungrier for the next one. Maybe he didn't think that the matchup was right. Like, as much as you're saying you think he could have stopped Jonas, I don't think that's true. I don't know if Mo Bamba would have been the answer to stop Jonas Valanciunas last night. Jonas Valanciunas is such a polished player in the NBA for so long now. I mean, how long has he been in the league? Almost 15 years. And this guy has survived being a very kind of throwback center that, he's made himself better. I like what Matt and Alvin were saying about his diet and how he had to adjust to be who he is in the league and still in the league at this point. I mean, we were saying that he wouldn't be in the league like 5 years ago The last 2 years of him being on the Raptors, we were thinking, man, he's like a dinosaur. He's going the way of the dinosaurs. He'll go extinct. No, that man's got like 8 more years since then. And it's like, holy crap, we got to kind of be in an astoundment of that because he's worked really hard. The league could have left him behind and made him obsolete, but it has not. And he's still in the league playing. So kudos to Valanciunas, man. And honestly, it's easier said than done, especially with the time and effort and how strong he is. That man is really smart at this point. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and he is really hard to play. Like on the down low, he's somebody really hard to play. I don't know it's as easy as saying, let's put Mo Bamba on and we'll stop him. I don't think that's true. I honestly think out of all our guys that were available last night, Scotty probably had the best chance to try and stop him. I don't think Sandro was effective against him at all, and that was part of the problem. But yeah, how much do you want to make Scott put all his energy into trying to stop Jonas? When in some ways, you're thinking about also putting him on Jamal Murray later too and chasing him around also. Yeah, Alvin's right. Scotty can guard a range of any position and any top player in this league. That's a defensive player of the year. That is, yeah. Yeah. Nameless is here. Good to see the Italian plumber. My good friend. I was sitting beside the bench last night and noticed Mobamba was incredibly engaged and spent most of his time with Yak and Jama getting schooled all night. Free throws killed us again. Yeah, I don't know if it was free throws. I think it's just missing shots in general. I think it was just missing shots in general. You were at the game too last night? That's awesome. That's so cool. A lot of Raptor freaks in the house in the New Year's Eve game last night. Very, very cool. It looked to me as Bamba is still getting acclimated, probably still figuring out his living situation. He seemed nowhere near ready to make an impact yet. That's the thing. He's got to get some practice. He's got to get some time around. He's got to see what we do. Really, we put him out there in that first game for just a really quick debut and get it over and done with. Yeah, we got Mo Bamba. Here he is. He's on the Raptors. There you go. He didn't really do anything. He blocked the shot. And, they got to get him up to speed. And, he's not been on 905 learning our system with Andrew Jones just to come up. He's been on Salt Lake City, and they don't have the same system. So he's really cramming, like he's taking a test very soon, and he's trying to learn everything as fast as possible. But different guys have different aptitudes for speeds of learning too, and this is maybe part of it. Also, is like Darko and them have to really gauge. Well, how much is he actually getting it, and do we feel comfortable putting him out there for minutes when he may like gum up the works and not have it down yet. You know what I'm saying? But Nameless saw it firsthand. He was right up close. He sees Mo Bamba being a very attentive student. And that's important right now. That's right. Kaloy's saying, yeah, this is probably true. Bamba needs to earn Darko's trust first. For sure. Absolutely for sure. That is definitely true. Nameless is saying, if I had to guess, I'd say Bamba will be here the rest of the year. They are in zero rush with him by the looks of it. Well, the other thing is like, look, to keep Bamba on this team and keep him for the rest of the year, it's really going to take him like coming in and get a little bit more. If he does like one really good game, really good stint by the time the deadline is, I'll bet you Bobby will double down and keep him around. It's just, the only way that Bamba kind of gets thrown out and doesn't get past the 10th of January is if he's absolutely a dud, if he's absolutely a dead end, if he comes in and he's a knucklehead and he's not doing what Nameless just said he's doing. Like if he just comes in, he's like, I'm in the NBA again. Woo-wee. I'm on the end of the bench hanging out with Jacoby and we're joking around and I'm not being serious. Yeah, that'll get him bounced from the team. But if he's showing that he's a good student and he's engaged and he really wants it and he really wants to help the Raptors win, he'll hang around. It's more likely he'll hang around because we do need a player like him. And if Bobby can balance everything with the cap and the apron and stuff like that, why wouldn't he do it? He's got him here landed now. He's in the uniform. He seems like he's willing student. Well, he's probably going to stick around. I think that Nameless seeing it up close is a good report of it and very close to see it. That's right. Let's see. Nameless is saying he looked not even close to full-time minutes yet. I'd say he needs a few more practices. He seemed really raw and new. He was totally engaged, though, asking questions and learning. Bamba, not even close, just by his demeanor. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, in some ways, I'd say throw him out in the deep end and just let him see if he can swim. But also, once again, I'll say the coaches know the best, and that's all of them. Pat, Jama, Coco, Mike, Evo, that's all of them. They're all analyzing this and figuring it out with Darko. You know, Trevor's saying Mobamba has to get a good Darko practice to learn the system. Yeah, yeah. Yep. OVO center. Get him down there. Get him with that Noah system. That's right. Nameless is saying I had a fantastic look at that BI shot and it looked good to me. See, he saw it up close. Yeah, whatever. They can Scrooge McDuck us. Whatever. I told y'all we can't trust Zach Zarba. I said that yesterday. Ref Report is undefeated. Zach Zarba will follow NBA storylines if he gets the chance, and he got that chance last night. He got that chance. He stabbed us in the back and said, yeah, oh, Raptors fans, you're so happy. We don't need you to be happy on New Year's Eve. We're going to crush you and take this away. You lose. I told y'all not to trust Zach Zarba. He's one of those guys, a con man with a smile. Smile to your face, stab you in the back. Smile to your face, stab you in the back. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Kesper is saying JV was a steal for them just to be a backup. This Nugget team is deep this year, not like the flawed, vulnerable Nuggets team from the past 2 years. I would say that, yeah, the evidence is in the proof of the game result last night. Like, seriously, we're looking on paper. Everybody's like, easy win, easy win. They don't have this guy. They don't have that guy. We should win for sure. In some ways, that energy is part of why we lost last night, too. In some ways, yeah. Yeah, I'll get behind what Kessler is saying here because honestly, I do feel like this Nuggets team has a little bit more oomph. In some ways, maybe it's Bruce Brown being around. I don't know. He's so weird and goofy. So weird and goofy, Bruce Brown. But he totally fits on that team. I mean, he's got the tattoo that fits it. That's for sure. Name was saying JV killed us last night and relished it. He's definitely not a Raptor anymore. He blocked the hell out of BI, then gave him a couple of pats on the ass on the way up the floor. Well, they're all teammates on Pelicans. They're very good friends, probably, because they were in wars together on the same team. I think they were together as teammates for like 3 or 4 years, right? When Jonas was in New Orleans. So very familiar with each other because they're friends from playing with each other. Yeah, Jonas is weird, man, because I was thinking about it last night. Him and DeMar really should feel like they got screwed out of the championship, especially Jonas. We don't talk about Jonas Valanciunas in the 2019 championship enough. I mean, he was on the team for first half of the season when we won the championship, and then we traded him for Marc Gasol. In some ways, if anybody wanted to be a Bond villain, looking like a Bond villain towards the Raptors and have some reason to get back at them, Jonas may be one of them, right? Because we traded him right before we were getting to the apex to get the championship. And in some ways, it's a very similar thing to what happened to DeMar DeRozan. Jonas has been very vocal about this, though, that he has no ill will towards us. He loves Toronto. He loves the Raptors. And in some ways, he's a Raptor alumni and a loved Raptor for life, even if he killed us last night and came back and did that. That's his job. That's his job. He still does premieres of his documentary here in Toronto because the Lithuanian community, he's still doing like different things around Toronto still, even though he hasn't played for us for what, 6-7 years. So, I wish Jonas had gotten a ring for our championship. I'm gonna be honest right now. Like the Lakers in their bubble championship, they gave rings to people that weren't on the team at the end of the year. Why couldn't we do that? Why couldn't we give DeLon, CJ, and Jonas rings for that year? Because they were on the team half the year. And in some ways, you could say that. But no, we didn't want to give Jonas a ring. Why not? We want more Raptors champions, right? And he technically was on the championship team for part of the season. To say, no, he got traded for Mark. And if Mark's getting a ring, Jonas shouldn't get a ring. I don't like that. I wish Jonas Valanciunas had a championship ring from our year, but I don't know. Who tells them whether he can have it or not? Because the Lakers were giving rings to people who weren't on the team at the end of the year for their championship the next year. So let's see. Name was saying agreed. Colin Murray Boyle's shooting threes late game was wild. Yeah, it's not the right shot. It's not the right shot selection. That's another area where they could really clean it up is shot selection. Is deciding when to shoot and when not to. There's times when the Raptors ball movement is amazing. Oh my gosh, going all around the horn, around this way, and then come back this way, and then boom, the open shots in the corner of Jacoby for 3. There's times where the shot selection and where the ball is being shot from makes so much sense. I'm like, wow, that's a really good shot. And they really work the ball around to get to that shot. And then there's times where I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, why would you make that extra pass to there when you obviously have the space in the room to just elevate and shoot right there? You need to recognize when you have the best percentage shot percentage and not make the extra pass sometimes. I know the philosophy is get the ball as close to the basket to make the shot, but sometimes that dump off pass to a guy who's got three defenders around him is not the right shot. Is the shot that you had that you just passed away from. So shot selection and deciding when to shoot and taking that trigger, in some ways, that's one of the biggest things that this young Raptor core needs to work on. It really is because they could tighten this up and they'd be way more efficient and they'd be making life a way easier for themselves with the margins and the way they've been having to come back on games and this bullshit. Just fucking shoot better and have better shot selection throughout the game, and maybe the margin will look better, and you guys will actually have like a 5-point lead with 5 minutes to go instead of trying to make up a 10-point lead. You know, it's stuff like that, man. Stuff like that. Name is saying crunch time threes from CMB was cringe. Missed layups and free throws were cringe. Yeah, the missed layups. Oh my gosh. Sergeant Wayne is here. Good to see our Sergeant at Arms, Wayne Strainer. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Tough loss. Nothing to do with the referees. What was the factor was Colin not knowing his role. He's not there for taking threes in the fourth. Play with BI, RJ, and Scott on the floor. Yeah, I mean, his protocol is if he's open, he has the green light to take it because in some ways he's had success with it this year. But there's also you got to have some sort of discretion when it's the time of the game and what's going on, Colin. And that it's not the right time when it's that late in the game. Maybe during the game in the meat of it, you can get away with doing that, but not when it really matters. And we're counting possessions and stops and trying to get scores to try and make the margin up to get to the right place for us to win. So I didn't agree with it either, and I think a lot of y'all are saying the same thing here. Kesper saying it's Peyton Watson. Yeah, unless we're joking again. Peyton Watson. I don't know. What did I say? What did I call him earlier? Peyton something. Did I call him Peyton Manning or something like that? Peyton Watson. I think I was saying his name right. I don't know. Did I say his name something wrong? Maybe I did get him mixed up. That was a mistake. I didn't do that on purpose. If I did, what did I call him? I don't even remember. Kareem saying this, inquiring Mo Bamba solidifies 905 championship, laugh out loud. Personally, I think if you give Bamba a 5-minute burn like the last game would work to our advantage, seeing that there's no JV Joker or Gordon. I mean, I don't know. We don't know that. We will never know. And in some ways, once again, the coaches know better than us, and we don't know better than them. We have to start with that. That part of it is the arrogance of Raptors Nation is that they are egomaniacs and they think they know better than the professionals that actually paid to do the jobs. And that's annoying to me because everybody thinks they know better than Bobby. Everybody thinks they know better than Darko, but they don't have the proprietary knowledge of being in the position and knowing all the everything that goes into what you have to do with that job. It's real easy for somebody to say, yeah, you should have just played Mo Bamba. We would have won. This the ego of all of us thinking we know better than the coach. We need to stop doing this. Seriously. Especially Raptors fans that just talk out of their ass and say, like, oh, they should have just played Mobamba and they would have won. Like, how do you know that? And why would you know better than Darko and the coaches? Because they're in the middle of it. And they've worked their whole lives as coaches. And what are you? What do you do? Oh, you're a mailman? Well, that's a great position. I like that. I'm not going to tell you how to sort mail. So why the fuck would you tell Darko how to coach? You know, Wade saying this all my life watching Bamba play, never saw him win a game for his team. Exactly. So it's like, why would we think this? Don't think he was going to start last night. Guys tried their best, and it just wasn't good enough. Mamu had a poor game as well. Yeah, that was the key to the game yesterday. Once again, I said the team that has the most guys to contribute to helping to win will be the team that wins in team sports and team basketball. And we had 4 guys show up, and then the rest of them, and even IQ wasn't effective. He was kind of not efficient, even though he got 22. We had 4 guys show up to score, and the rest of the team didn't do jack shit to help them win. Maybe Colin chipped in some offensive rebounds, but that's it. The rest of those guys didn't do jack shit to help them. It was all Brandon, Scotty, and RJ, and IQ, and then a little bit of Colin. That's 4.5 players when you've got 6 guys on the other side contributing to help them win. In some ways, that's the way we got to look at it, Raptors and Raptors Nation, is how many guys on our side contributed quality shit that leads to winning. It's not even about scoring completely. It's about, did this guy do an X factor? Did this guy do something that led to helping to win in the whole scheme of the story of the game? And we got duds. We got guys in our lineup that are not contributing anything worth a crap. They might as well be a track team doing cardio for a high school coach. Hey guys, go on, run up and down the court. Just do suicides. You're not going to score, so you might as well just run up and down the court. It's cardio fest. We got cardio fest going on with Walter and Shed and Dick and Abaji and and Mamu yesterday. This cardio fest. You guys are going to run around and just get like 2 points each? Okay. That's not going to help the team. We need more from you guys. We need more from you guys. That's it right there. That's it. Kaloy saying, now I see why Jokic has double-digit assists. They have shooters up and down the roster. I guess this is the barometer for contenders having a great offense from the bench units. Yeah, I mean, they just dialed in, and maybe the shot selection is better. Maybe they're setting people up. Maybe Jamal Murray as a leader. He's such a good shooter. He's really kind of towards Steph Curry as far as the marksmanship and just how he is such a great shooter, that he's that kind of leader. And maybe we need a leader on our team that's a great shooter. And then all of a sudden, Grady Dick and Jacoby Walter and Ochai Agbaji are making the shots. You know, in some ways, Grady should be this leader, honestly, because that's the pedigree and the power of who he is as a shooter. And he's totally dropped the ball this season as far as being our 3-point leading shooter. You know, that's the problem. Like I said, it's a real issue with Sandro Mamu is our most dependable 3-point shooter out of everybody on our team. That's a problem because he's not really, that's the gravy skill. That's not even supposed to be what he's really here for. He's here for being a big man and doing big man stuff, but he's our best 3-point shooter off the bench. That's a problem. Something's wrong here. We got Jamison Battle on this team. We got Grady Dick. We got Jacoby Walter. What the fuck is this? We need to have a better off the bench 3-point shooter that is money that we can count on. In some ways, what's happening with Grady this year is worse than what we were getting from Gary Trent in the last year he played on this team. Because at least Gary Trent was 50% of the games showing up and bombing and making a bunch of points for us. But Grady is not even doing this in like out of 10 games, maybe one game he's doing it. One game out of 10 games he plays, he contributes in a meaningful way. This is a problem. We need a 3-point shooting leader on this team that instills confidence in all the rest of them. So everybody starts making more threes together. Jamal Murray is that kind of guy. He's that kind of guy. Yeah. Let's see. Fiercely saying 148 dunks for me. Whoop, 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 whoop. There you go. Yeah, you had a pretty good year for dunks there. That's all right. Yeah. Kareem saying crazy thing about Peyton Watson is that he is going to be a free agent. Denver can't afford him. He may be on the trading block for picks. Of course, Kareem knows this because he's a Denver fan. That's his West team. So in some ways, he's seeing this game last night and he's unaffected because he's like, hey, I can get behind the Nuggets winning. You can get behind that. You know, that's interesting news. Peyton Watson, to see what happens with him as far as like possibly free agency. I don't know if he has any direction towards us, but who knows? Anything could be possible in the offseason. We'll have to see. Cool Cat is here. Happy New Year's, Raptor Free Crew 2026. Another opportunity to celebrate life. I like that. And on that note, let's go look at the Instagram stories. Oh, crap. Did I not set them up? I didn't set them up. So wait, I can go look at them really fast. Hang on. I thought I set them up. That's weird. Who do we want to start with? Let's pick a good one. Start with, man, where is it? Okay, Grady. Okay, Grady Dick. He's got himself coming into the game yesterday. He's wearing the hood like with a baklava. Like he's hooded and masked. I don't know what's going on there. And there's a cool picture of him. That looks like art. That looks like a mural or something like that. That's pretty cool. There's Coco Wade and his son, and they're putting in the Happy New Year's 2026 with the cool glasses last night. James Wade and his son. Happy New Year. There's Sandro's fiance Mercedes at the game filming Happy New Year on the screen up above. Let's see. There's Jamal Shed with his honey at midnight last night, getting kissed Kissed at midnight. There you go. There's the Happy New Year's kiss. Oh, look at that. That's so sweet. Let's see. What else do we have? Toronto Tempo, new year, new court. All right. I want to see your players. Who you going to get, Teresa Resch? That's right. There's 905 the Raptor wearing a shiny uh, suit, celebrating New Year's last night. Let's see. What else do we got here? Let's see. Matt Devlin and Alvin Williams before the game. Happy New Year. Good to see them. That's always fun. Man, Michaud, she bugs the hell out of me. Danielle is so bad. Like, she's not good at her job. She flubs her lines all the time. She's got such a wet blanket personality. She does not encourage me to get excited about the Raptors. In fact, in a lot of ways, she turns me off from the Sportsnet broadcast. Like, I find myself muting when she's speaking during the game. And when she's off the camera, I put it back on when Alvin and Matt are talking. Like, it's that bad. She annoys me that much. Like, honestly, I don't take her seriously as a basketball person as far as her knowledge or knowing anything about basketball. In some ways, I feel like she's just somebody's relative that has to have this job because of nepotism or some weird shit. I don't think she earned this job. I don't think she's good at it. If she's the best person we could have at this job, Rogers Sportsnet, we're fucked because she's horrible. She's absolutely horrible. She flubs lines all the time, and her personality is so boring to me. Like, she does not instill excitement or interest in me. And honestly, I'm sick of both her and Kayla Gray talking for too long on the sideline report. The game is back in action. I want to hear Matt and Alvin call the game. I don't want to hear Danielle Michaud do a 2-minute monologue about whatever the fuck she's talking about. Because half of what she's saying is not necessary to say. And it's just get more concise with your reporting. That's what I learned in media school when I went to Florida State and took a minor in communication and radio broadcasting. Is you're supposed to be concise and consistent and just kind of quick in and out. But no, she jumps in with her little sideline report and it's on for like 5 minutes and the game's gone up and down the court like 2 or 3 times and she's still talking about injuries where she could just report the fucking injury and be done. Like, seriously, she's horrible. She's absolutely not an upgrade over Savannah Hamilton. Savannah Hamilton was way better at this job. She understands basketball because she played it. And in some ways, she understands the athletes better because she played it. And I don't know who the fuck Danielle Michaud is related to and why she has this fucking job on Sportsnet, but she is horrible. She was bad when she was just the in-studio host. Now that she's the sideline reporter also, is absolutely a downgrade from last year. Seriously, you wanted to cut one job and make 2 jobs into one, just like Masai and Bobby Rogers. And so you cut Savannah Hamilton and you kept Danielle Michaud and put her in that fucking spot. That was the worst mistake. You know, I get it. In some ways, she's more savvy than Savannah as far as doing in-studio host work that Savannah didn't do. And she's more versatile in that way. But her personality, her delivery, and who she is just a major turnoff to me. As a Raptors fan who's watched the Raptors for 30 years, she's one of the worst people that has covered the Raptors, and I'm sick of her. I'm sick of her. I don't know who the hell she knows or why the hell she's doing that job, but she shouldn't be doing that job. She shouldn't be doing that job. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about it. I cannot stand Danielle Michaud, and when she talks, it's like chalk. It's like fingernails on the chalkboard to me. Honestly, I cannot listen to her. I cannot listen to her. All right, there's your Instagram stories. I'll just dump on her. Fred VanVleet had a new Unguarded episode come out yesterday. Yeah, Fred came out, and it's interesting because he's reacting to the responses to the Kevin Durant interview that he did, and he's having regrets that he was laying back too much and drinking too much wine. And he also went over the whole phenomena of being misquoted for clickbait and how that can be destructive and annoying when people take one little part of what you said and just put it out as a headline and nobody actually watches the clip and they just think that you're saying jack shit about Kawhi this or, you know, I'm coming back this year from being hurt no matter what, you know, misconstruing stuff. And Fred's finding as a podcaster, you say certain things, they get clipped out, you can get totally misconstrued and he's talking about that phenomenon. This episode was kind of like a housekeeping episode, the latest episode of Unguarded, episode 4. Really him talking with his buddy about current affairs like Jake Paul, boxing and football and music and different things going on around different places, and kind of cleaning up, talking about the epic Kevin Durant episode with that interview. Very, very interesting. And Fred's interesting to hear his reaction to the reactions to his podcast. Very, very interesting. So check out Unguarded. Fred VanVleet's podcast is amazing. And yeah, Fred, I mean, this is how it is. In some ways, he's a little bit more guarded because he understands how he can be misconstrued through bullshit clickbait kind of artists out there, just trying to get people to click. Like Trevor, you posted this thing from this guy gallivanting, where it's a clickbait. You put a fucking clickbait on our Discord, Trevor, where it's like this guy's saying Scotty Barnes telling everybody to stop doing this. That's not what that clip was. There's not Scotty Barnes in an interview saying nothing. It's some jabroni like me that's just talking out of his ass like me on his channel. And I'm like, that's not what this is represented as. I would not have clicked on this if I knew this is what this was. So yeah, clickbait's annoying. Fred's finding that out. Seriously, he's finding that out. So yeah. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying in the chat. Blackhawk's saying Happy New Year's. Happy New Year to you, Neil. Kareem's saying Denver is so good, and I can't believe JV even disputed playing with Joker. Anyways, fuck Denver. Raptors are still way ahead of schedule. It's not that he debated playing with Joker. It's that I'm telling you right now, his wife does not want to live in the United States. His Lithuanian wife is seeing the fascist takeover of the United States. And, my family being from Estonia, his family being from Lithuania, we understand fascism. Trust me. And, what is the balance here? Jonas Valanciunas is looking at happy wife, happy life, or $20 million playing for, I don't even know if it's 20. I think it's $10 million. $10 million to play for the Nuggets this year. That's why there was a lot of confusion about whether he's going to report or even show up to the Denver Nuggets this summer, is because seriously, his family wants to be in Europe. They do not want to be living in the States right now, obviously, because you can look at what's happening in the States right now. So Igle, she wants their children in Lithuania. She wants him to go away from the NBA and stop working in the NBA and go be in EuroLeague now and go back to the old country. Because obviously the United States is a dumpster fire burning down with freedom of press going out the window, all kinds of crazy ass shit with totalitarian dictator Donald Trump trying to fucking do what he's doing. So why wouldn't Valanciunas' wife say, I don't want my kids being here anymore? Because we come from countries that have been dealt with fascism and all kinds of dangerous shit throughout the history of time. And well, this guy's ponying up to Putin, one of the worst people in the world. And all of a sudden, the United States is more aligned with Vladimir Putin and Russia than anybody else in the world. That's fucked up. And that shows the American people straight up that your country is controlled by Vladimir now at this point, because Donald is his lapdog and he's going to do whatever he says he wants him to do, including how they handle Ukraine. So, United States, you guys have failed. You have absolutely failed. Your democracy is in shambles, and you're a puppet state for Vladimir Putin at this point. How do you feel about that? Get in the streets and fucking take your country back from the wannabe king named Donald Trump, and his ass has got a hand up it, and it's Vladimir Putin's hand up his ass like he's a puppet. And if you don't think I'm being honest and truthful, you're a fucking moron. Because that's exactly what's happened to your country. You can't tell in your foreign policy how you turned your back on all your allies, like the country of Canada up here and all the countries in Europe that you fought beside, shoulder to shoulder, in wars against totalitarian dictators like Putin and Hitler. And now all of a sudden your leader is one of those fucking guys. You need to take your country back. You need to take your country back. It's for the sanity of the whole entire world. You need to do this for everybody, for Australia, for France, for the UK, for Canada, for China, for everybody. You need to do it for everybody, because seriously, this is not a good look. And we're going towards some bad shit if y'all don't fucking take your country back, people of the United States. And it's not going to be easy, because this guy's leeching in and putting in roots and doing all kinds of crazy fucked up shit with Doge and Elon Musk and all this other stuff. But y'all need to do this, because the future for your children is basically, you know what? Go look and see what Russian life is like. Because whatever Russian life is like underneath Vladimir Putin, well, that's what you're going to get in the United States in the near future if you don't fucking switch this shit up quick. Seriously. The Russians have mafiosos in charge of the parts of the country now because all their people are dying because of a dumbass invasion of Ukraine that was illegal. And now they don't have enough police. So basically, the Russian oligarchs who run the country of Russia, not the politicians, the very rich people have paid to do it, which is what's forming in your country right now, pay mafia to be basically the police in your areas. And do you think the mafia are a good legal source of law and order? Yeah, this is where you're heading towards United States. Get your head out of your ass. 60 Minutes is a canary in a coal mine. And you need to fucking stop lying to yourself if you think this is all going to just fix itself on its own. You guys are going to have to do something about it. And you know what? As your friends up here in Canada, we will help you fight fascism. You just need to do your part inside and start taking the power back from fucking people that are buying the power and running your lives for you in a very, very fucked up way, just like is run in Russia. You guys are going to get this very soon. Don't kid yourself. You need to do it now. That's right. That's right. Somebody was saying Patrick Watson. Patrick Watson. Maybe I did call him Patrick Watson. I don't know. Peyton Watson. Patrick Watson. I think I did call him Patrick Watson. So yeah, I'll take that one. It's an innocuous name. I mean, in some ways, Patrick Watson. Yeah, it's Peyton Watson. All right, I'll get it right. That was me. That was me. If I called him Patrick Watson, that was totally me. Totally me right there. Wayne saying this, critical of BI with just one assist until I remembered that him passing out, but teammates missing their layups and shots. BI did his job. Grady is becoming an issue. Hope he has a better second half of the season. Yeah, no, that's totally true. Like BI would have better assist numbers if these guys made their shots. That's obvious right there. Yeah. Reggie's saying this Danielle Michaud is a Blue Jays person. She's not versed with Raptor stuff. She's still learning, man. I don't give a shit. Why is she doing it? We don't need Blue Jays people doing basketball. We want basketball people doing basketball. There's enough people that know basketball. Savannah Hamilton's a homegrown Canadian talent who should have never left that job. Danielle Michaud, fuck her. She shouldn't be doing this. Like, she doesn't. Does anything about Danielle Michaud speak basketball to you? Seriously. Like, even the terminology sounds awkward coming out of her. Like, she's trying too hard. Like, she's a poser. Like, she's a poser. That's how I feel she is. She's a poser. I'll get in on Brad Fay too, but we'll just concentrate this on Danielle Michaud right now. We'll just concentrate on her. Okay, so she's a Blue Jays person. She's a baseball person. Keep her at Rogers Center then. She don't need to be at Scotiabank Arena. That's how I feel. When they switched her over to more basketball stuff, that was a fail. Whoever made that decision, you're an idiot. Keep her away from the basketball. Seriously. It's not like there's all kinds of problems with her. Like, seriously, she's obviously a nepotism hire of some sort. Obviously, because honestly, she's not that good, man. She's really not that good. Kayla Gray's way better than her. Wayne's saying, though, thank you. Kayla Gray drives me nuts with her endless dribble of uninteresting storylines. That other contributor is not even a Raptors fan, and she carries bad luck in her presence. Oh, no. That's the other thing I don't like about her is, like, she's not for the Raptors. Danielle Michaud, your energy betrays you. You are gleeful when the Raptors are shitty. If you can do an intro to the Raptors, just like Brad Fay, he's the same category, where it's demeaning or negative about the Raptors, you gleefully deliver those lines as Rogers employees. Your energy betrays you guys. That's why, in some ways, if you're a real one, a Raptor freak like me, you see through it and you feel their energy. And you're like, fuck these jackasses. Fuck these motherfuckers. Why are they the most prominent voices around our broadcast, around Alvin and Matt? Why do we have to hear these motherfuckers? Why? Because they're harmless white people for the general population of Canada to be okay with watching basketball. That's it right there. And it's maybe Savannah was too urban. I don't know. I don't know why they let Savannah Hamilton go. It's one of the biggest, dumbest mistakes Rogers has done. She was developing so well as a sideline reporter and branching out in what she's doing. Well, their loss is the Toronto Tempo's gain. I'm going to tell you that right now because Savannah Hamilton will figure very prominently around broadcasting for the Tempo. I'll bet you money. I'll bet you money. Savannah Hamilton will have a nice gig for Teresa Resch and Larry Tenenbaum for the Toronto Tempo. Yeah, I trade Michaud for Savannah Hamilton every single day. Now, Kayla Gray does ramble too much, but for the most part, she's very good. And all the things I just said about Danielle Michaud, no, she can relate to the players. She has a nice interaction with them. It's awkward. Every fucking after game interview Danielle Michaud has done this season with a player after the game is awkward as fuck. Awkward as fuck. She's like, Scotty, it's like, you're awkward as fuck. Like, you do not have a chemistry with these players. Kayla Gray, in some ways, can show a chemistry with the players, and it's playful and it's fun. Danielle Michaud, you're just like a dead fish or a dead, wet, cold fish. It's really fucked up, man. I don't get this. Like, she's a fail all around. Seriously, why is she in that job? Is just what I'm asking, man. Why is she in that job, man? Let's see. G saying it was the Knicks or Lakers. Do they count that shot? I don't know. I don't know. Have we seen these situations happen in other places? I don't pay attention to the other teams enough to know if there's been many rescinded buzzer beaters in other franchises' history and what's going on around the league. Maybe we could do some research on this and find out how many times has there been a shot that almost made it and they even called that they made it, but they took it back after they reviewed? And whose teams have had this happen to them? Like, how many teams have had Cameroonian centers taken from them by the fitness to play panel? That's what I'm wondering. I just want the stats on this. Is it fairly happening to everybody around the league? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. If there's an example of this happening to the Knicks somewhere, I'd love to see it. If there's an example of this happening to the Celtics somewhere, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I don't know. I don't watch all the games in the NBA, so I don't know if this has happened to other teams. G saying Nuggets are a good team, and Jamal deserves way more credit than he gets, for sure. He should be an all-star this year. That's why I keep voting for Jamal Murray of Kitchener to be an all-star in the NBA this year. That's right. HC saying rise and shine. I was more sad for RJ winning shot than BI. That man needs a game-winning shot. Yeah, they showed the clips of RJ Barrett trying to hit the game winner against Denver, and this is like the third time this has happened where he gets a big time shot and he just doesn't hit it at the end. I get it, man. I'd love to see RJ hit that. These games, we've been in very close games with Denver and just barely lost them. This is like seems to be a pattern. In some ways, it's fishy when it's like that. Like, oh, the outcome, if the refs are manipulative and able to get outcomes, then how the fuck has it been so fishy that the Raptors lose to the Nuggets on a one possession game the last 3 times they've come to Toronto? Like, seriously, the stats don't lie. There's been 3 games in Toronto where Denver has won in a row where we've just barely lost by 1 bucket. And one of those games was very directly manipulated by Scott Foster. One of those games by throwing Scotty out at the end of the game and we just barely lose by a bucket. Yeah. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. Let's see. Kesper is saying Jamal hit a slump in the last few years since the Nuggets won the chip. It seems he's gotten through it, which is good for that squad going forward. Canada represent as well. Yeah, Jamal Murray, his injuries kind of sidelined him for a little while there. And he wasn't available. And, it's just taking time for him to get back into the stride of things. He seemed real good last night. I mean, he wasn't hitting everything, though. It wasn't like he came out and dropped 50 on us, like advertised, HC saying, I'm good with Kayla. She's looking real good this year. Been taking health serious. I mean, look, she's got a nice personality. She's attractive personality. Danielle Michaud does not have an attractive personality. She just doesn't. People sometimes have an attractive personality and sometimes they don't. And to me, she's just not somebody that you want to watch. Like, I don't need to have her on my TV screen. Like, who the fuck is she? And why is she doing basketball stuff? She doesn't vibe like she's a basketball person. And in some ways, like I said, she's part of the messaging for Rogers Corporation around the NBA product. And in some ways, maybe she's bad on purpose because they don't want the NBA product to be as attractive. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe she's attractive to an old white lady out in the middle of the country, but she's not attractive to people like us in the city. I don't know. What is it? Is it to make basketball more accessible? Is there a demographic research that you did and this is the right exact demographic we need to have in this position? A little white girl with blonde hair that talks out her ass and is not got any charisma at all? I don't know. I don't know where they got to this casting decision. I don't understand it at all, man. Fiercely saying if they could find someone that somehow matches Mariah Amber's energy and talent, they would replace her too. You think that? So she fiercely saying they would get rid of Mariah Amber if she wasn't such a badass, like league wide. She has the perfect voice for that job in the arena. That raspy voice that's just so, in some ways, it's a very attractive, excitable voice. Like, yeah, Raptors freaks and Strizzy, same thing. Like they're a great compliment for each other. And in some ways, they're just really good at their jobs. Like, and they do what they do so well, four corners. You can talk about the in-game ops people and they do a good job. Herbie's been there since the beginning. So, I don't know. I would want to not think this is true, but in some ways, I get what you're trying to say, MJ. I get what you're trying to say. Fiercely saying, I told you, Lex, refs have been helping the Nuggets when they play us. I mean, I don't know why they would do that. Like, what's the big deal? They just want to prop up the Nuggets and hurt the Raptors? I don't know why. Either way, we lost the game legally. It's just that it's not fun. You guys could have had more fun with the game last night, NBA. Let them play the overtime. Come on, man. Don't take that from the fans. AC saying, look, laugh out loud. This man really don't want to hear anything Danielle is saying. Laugh out loud. I usually ignore them anyway. Automatic thing. Yeah, I mute when Brad Fay or Danielle are talking. And it sucks because I want to hear Sherman and Matt, but Brad Fay has the same effect on me. It's like his old towny sayings and stuff like, and the Raptors are this. We'll have to see if the Raptors don't screw this one up. It's basically the attitude of Brad Fay and the way he covers the team. Once again, he's a sports net center, whatever fucking anchor for like all the sports. And he's not specialized for basketball. And in some ways that comes through. And in some ways, the other thing is like, I want people that are passionate and love basketball, like Eric Smith covering basketball. I want people that were basketball first people, not general sports people that just happen to get the basketball assignment. You want people that show a real enthusiasm and knowledge and true passion for the product that they're doing. And in some ways, I get the feeling through Brad Fay's energy, he could fucking give a shit about the NBA and he'd much rather cover the NHL probably. Seriously. That's the energy he betrays to himself. Is like, yeah, I'm doing the NBA and I'm the face of the NBA studio show. But hell, if I could be the NHL one, oh my gosh, my dream job would be that. That's the energy I get from Brad Fay. They're both problematic. Let's just put it that way to me. They just both are, because I feel like they're not basketball people, but they are two of the most prominent voices for the basketball broadcast on Rogers, which is annoying, man. Yeah, let's keep going. G saying this, RJ will hit one that really matters. I told myself losing before New Year's is going to be a good luck for us in 2026. I like that, G. Get that loss out in 2025 and move forward. Let's go Raptors. We good. That's right. We're going to have we know we have some interesting games coming up that are very winnable. We're going to play Atlanta twice here in Toronto to start the new year, starting on Saturday. We'll play Atlanta on Saturday here, and then we'll play Atlanta again on Monday. So a little two set with Atlanta Hawks, who we've already beaten them twice this year. And well, we should sweep them. We should sweep them at home and take the first two games of the new year as wins. That's what I hope we do. Of course, tomorrow we got the San Diego Clippers and the Raptors 905 undefeated streak on the line. So we'll have I don't know. What should I do tomorrow, guys? Should I do watch along with the game or I should just do my regular show. I'm going to do a Friday freak out tomorrow at first thing in the morning. Friday freak out 9:30 a.m. That's what I'll do tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. I was going to maybe do the game, but I don't know if I want to wait until the afternoon and do the game live. Nah, we'll do the Friday freak out. We'll do it in the morning. I'll figure out what I'm going to freak out about tomorrow morning. That's right. HC saying Matt Bonner to me feels like he's going to be our new Leo. Yeah, he's not bad at it. No, you know who our new Leo is? Is Kia Nurse. Kia Nurse is taking that baton that Leo Routens and Jack Armstrong have wielded for most of these years as one of the most forefront basketball experts teaching the country basketball. Now, Jack Armstrong and Leo Routens in the very beginning was the first person. Him and Paul Jones, were the two guys that were kind of teaching basketball to the country of Canada when we first got the franchise in the middle of the 90s. And then Jack Armstrong came along, and him and Chuck Swirsky and that team Jack Armstrong became kind of the professor teaching people the sport and the rules and stuff. Well, we're advanced now, 31 years in, and we've got the telestrator with Kia Nurse and the TSN pregame show with that combination of her and Leo doing the old school stuff. But Kia's really kind of the professor. She's the one kind of going over the plays from the last game and teaching the Canadian audience in depth, very much more, even more detailed basketball stuff than the old broadcasts that we used to have. The very basic stuff in the beginning was being taught by Leo and Jack and Paul. And now Kia's doing the PhD level like teaching for the Raptors Nation with that thing that she's doing on TSN now. It's fantastic. It's a great segment. She's so good. And she really is educating people on very intricate, like detailed NBA play stuff. She's so good. She's been so good. So good. So I look at her as that person right now. Matt Bonner's great. Matt Bonner is funny, and he's grown on me more and more. He's a true Raptors alumni, and him and Blake Murphy are interesting on the Raptors show. Sherman's I really love Sherman. He's always good for teaching and learning from for sure. He's always been good too. Yeah, let's see what else you're saying. Kareem's saying this: Denver's bench brought energy. Toronto's bench brought emotional support. We need more consistency. I don't know if they brought emotional support. I think they brought bricks to lay a house. Is what they brought. Fiercely saying, I hope the Hawks play Trae Young. Their defense has plummeted since his return. That's hilarious. I'll do my scout and we'll do the preview on Saturday morning. I'll have the latest lineup news on who's available, and we'll go over the refs since they do matter. They do matter. HC saying Kia is definitely a keeper. She's very knowledgeable and funny, and actively a professional basketball player in the WNBA who is doing it. That's what I'm saying. You want experts. You want people that do it, that have done it. Savannah Hamilton, Kia Nurse, Leo Routens, Sherman Hamilton, Matt Bonner. These are people who have done it. Alvin Williams, Jack Armstrong. He's done it. He's been a coach. A long time he was a coach. These people know basketball. That's why I want people that know basketball to cover the basketball. Michael Grange even played basketball in university, surprisingly. So he knows basketball as much as I hate him. In some ways, I listen. If we could get those other two out, I'm okay with Grange sticking around, even though I can't stand Michael Grange. I can't stand him, man. Yeah, Fiercey's giving me my cutoff. Thank you, Fiercey. I'm sure that I appreciate that. Bring back Rod Black. Well, if you want to hear Rod Black, he's on CBL. You guys know that, right? Rod Black is one of the main announcers for Canadian Elite Basketball League. So if you want to hear Rod Black, you can hear him calling the Canadian games in the summer. Yeah, he was at the Scarborough Shooting Stars game when I was there doing the broadcast for that. So yeah, Rob Black he's very old. You guys got to understand, Rob Black is a lot older than you think he is, even with his young devilish looks. He's actually quite old. And in some ways, the travel schedule of being in the Raptors is too overwhelming. That's part of the reason why Leo's not doing games anymore. He doesn't want to travel all around the world like Alvin and Jack do. He's just stay in Toronto, stay in the studio, and not have to go everywhere. And Rod Black, well, he's CBL now. So if you want to hear him, that's where he is, man. Kareem saying Kia Nurse is great. She's detailed with schemes and not just making talking points. Yeah. She's teaching a Canadian audience basketball and at a new level that's higher than the basic level, which is awesome, man, for sure. Fiercely saying Michael Grange played ball. That explains the hater vibe. He probably sucked. Yeah, I was shocked when I heard that too. But yeah, he did. He did play. And Smith saying Savannah Hamilton works for CBC right now. Yeah, she does. But I'm also going to tell you right now, she's going to figure prominently in broadcasting for the Tempo. Watch. She'll figure prominently for the WNBA. Watch. She'll be working for the Tempo for sure. But she does have a contract with CBC also right now. That's right. All right, let me go over my tabs and finish it up. The team stats. We could look at the team stats real quick here. We shot 37%. That's a big reason why we lost right there. The free pointers, we actually made 12 more threes than them. So it's not like they outshot us from three. The free throws were fine. We out rebounded them 50-47. The assist to turnover ratio was awesome. In fact, Darko went on and on about this after the game that we only had 8 turnovers for the whole game, guys. It's not like we were sloppy and turning the ball over all over the place. 27 assists with 8 turnovers as a team. That's fantastic. That's actually really good. So we did win some of the areas of the game, It's just the shooting was so bad and no bench production. The assisted turnovers for the Nuggets, 17 assists to 11 turnovers. You know, fast break points, 20 points for us. And the points in the paint, we beat them there too. So we beat them on so many categories, but we didn't have enough contributions from more guys to win the game. It's just, it's so stupid, man. So stupid. Kareem saying Savannah Hamilton and Kia Nurse at TSN desk would move mountains. They are both good. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Kate Burness is fine. You know, all of my misgivings about Danielle Michaud, Kate Burness covers up because she has a personality. She's fun and attractive to watch. She's smiling more. She has a natural ability to like lighten up things, and she's very good improvising wise. And in some ways, even if Kate Burness isn't necessarily a basketball first person in her original sports career as a broadcaster, she covers it with the right kind of passion and fan kind of feel to her that's warm and engaging. And so that's why I say Kate Burness, even if she, you know, she's absolutely great at her job. I think she does a good job. Nikki Reyes is a little weird though. She's a little weird. She's a little awkward. But yeah, if we're going over the different people that can be in the broadcast for stuff, TSN's crew is way better than Rogers overall. And you know, I wouldn't change hardly any of the TSN people at all. I don't think I would change any of them. But Rogers, I'd change a bunch of them. I'd change a bunch of them. Yeah, Kate Burness was a high at the Grey Cup. Was high at the Grey Cup. She's just a fun person. Like she has a cool personality that's fun, and seeing her interact with Kia and Leo is a joy. Like it's not something that's like manufactured or weird. It's actually really natural and fun. So yeah, there's different people and different levels of, you know, good at that job. Different people. That's right. Kate grips that mic like a champ. I like her little interviews with the players too on off times. Her and Kayla both have good, like at ease, kind of playful interviews with the players. And they can be very like kind of goofy with them and bring out fun, goofy stuff with them. You know, when they do the Kayla Gray interview in the tunnel, sometimes that interview is the best interview of the whole game because she's kind of a little more loose and the players are before the game and she may ask like she's had RJ in that interview before and it's not even like she's a reporter and RJ's a player. It's more like they're friends. And RJ's like, no, you're not going to do this to me again, Kayla. And he's like, oh, RJ, you know I'm going to do this to you. You know I'm going to do this. Oh, come on, Kayla. You know, it's more like they're buddies than they're like an interviewer and a player in the NBA. You know, that you get that energy from Kayla Grace sometimes with her relationships with the players, especially after the game. Like a post-game interview with Kayla Gray is much more interesting because in some ways, like she's allowing people to take the mic from her and she's like off to the side and like, okay, yeah, you go ahead. All right. And then like she's, you know, if she's doing like talk with the player where she's trying to amp it up and make it more fun and cool, she's just more authentic and more natural at it. Meanwhile, you got Danielle Michaud's out there, like just asking the static, stupid media scrum questions to Scotty after he's won a game. And he's just kind of like, could you repeat that again? And it's like, you know, it's just awkward. And it's just like, we want more victorious, monumental energy instead of the dead, wet fish that Danielle Michaud is. I don't know. And maybe I'm going at her too much this morning. I've had a burning desire to go off on how I feel about her though on this channel, and I just took the opportunity today. That's all. If anybody hears me, if you want the customer card feedback, here you go from the Raptor Streak right here. That's right. Trevor's saying Raptor's going to be better. Life is all about learning and growing. We are already ahead of our scheduled time, so we all have to stop panicking. Yeah, I'm not panicking about this. It's a life lesson. It's an L. They took an L last night. And well, we can talk about how it happened and be all upset about it. But Zach Zarba, he made the decision. As Infamous said, he had the discretion to make the decision for the outcome of the game, and he did. And we have to live with it. And if the Raptors really wanted to win that game last night, they should have done a better job for the full 48 minutes to get to the point where they took that game and won it. But they left the door open in some ways for a weird ass thing like that to happen. But a testament to the amazing talent of Brandon Ingram and the team getting that ball to him in less than 3 minutes, less than 3 seconds to get that shot to happen like that. That in some ways is very promising in itself right there. Even if they didn't successfully count it and we didn't win, You know what I'm saying? That's right. Share the love club for Danielle Michaud. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen, man. There's certain people around the Raptors that will not get a share the love club from me. Trust me. It would have to be a really big turn of events for this to happen. Seriously. There's been a couple times where I've been happy with her because she's been good for information. She's been good to get the scoop and find out certain things about what's behind. And those are the rare times where I'm like, all right, Danielle, you did a good job. But most of that, everything else is just like, oh, you're such a turn off. Oh my gosh. And maybe I'm harping on this too much. That's hilarious. Slug Deezy said that. That's hilarious. Slug Deezy is funny, man. All right. Since Slug Deezy is here, let's go ahead and do the classic card real quick. And I actually have a couple more segments to do real quick. All right. Here's the classic card of the day. Ooh, this is a weird one, man. It looks weird too. This may stump you guys here. All right. Who is that? Can you tell who that is? It's a weird, it's like, look at the jersey. It's like, what is that jersey? And then who's that in the face? If you guys know who it is, I'll be very shocked and very, yeah, there you go. Slug Deezy, the king of classic card, did get it. It's JaVale McGee. Pretty good, man. I'm impressed. I'll give you 100 points for that. Because that some reason I feel like that was a hard card. JaVale McGee. Yeah, I'm not sure where he is in the league right now. He wasn't on a short list for us to try and get it as a center, was he? I don't think so. Slug Deezy. I'll do 200. 200 points for Slug Deezy on that one. On JaVale McGee. Seems like it was a little bit difficult. Y'all, real quick, straight goods on Canadian goods. This is Rise Kombucha. Kombucha is a really good fermented drink. It can be very good for your health. And Rise is a company out of Montreal that's Canadian. So if you want to get a straight up good drink that's kombucha, this is a particular is a hibiscus and rose hips combination. But they have all kinds of different ones. We have pineapple and like there's like turmeric and all kinds of different stuff in the different concoctions of Rise kombucha. But I love this stuff. It's great for your gut health. And we've been talking about fermentation on this channel a couple times. And as far as like having good gut health from things like kombucha or oats and stuff like that. So yeah, check out Rise at your local grocery store. This is a 100% Canadian product, made in Canada, sold to Canadians. So support those Canadian companies. And yeah, if you like kombucha, this is a pretty good company. It's very good. I like this stuff a lot, and it's good for your health. Seriously, it's good for your health. That's right. That's right. JaVale McGee's not in the NBA at this point. I'm not surprised. And Kesper is saying, wasn't he previously with the Mavs? Yeah, he did play for them for a little while. He's played for a lot of different teams. He was on Golden State. He was on the Magic, I believe, for a little while. He's been on quite a few different teams in the league. Washington, he was on Washington, wasn't he? JaVale McGee, aka the King of Shaqtin' a Fool. Yeah, I think he was on that quite a bit. In some ways, he had something he said about bullying and Shaq being such a bully or something like that. Wasn't that true or something? He was Masai's first gamble. Who? JaVale? No, we never had JaVale McGee on our team. Never had him on our team. Rise Kombucha's fire. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Kesper's saying, after looking, it looks like he was last on the Kings. Yeah, I think that sounds right. That sounds right. Yeah, I don't think Masai ever had anything to do with JaVale McGee. Oh, on the Nuggets. It was on the Nuggets when he had him. Okay, that's where I was confused. So you went and got him on the Nuggets. Okay, that makes sense, Reggie. That makes more sense. All right, let's see. Did I get all my tabs? Seriously, I was looking at the standings. The Raptors are still in fourth. They have a half game above the Magic and only one game above the Heat, the Sixers, and the Cavs. So they are breathing down our neck. So in some ways, we need to beat the Hawks these next two games to get that, because we were closer to the Celtics before losing last night. And in some ways, we got a little room to play in around the fourth seed, but we don't want to screw around with that by losing too much in a row, because we will screw that up if we do not. Check your NBA fantasy teams on Yahoo Fantasy League. If you have one, make sure you get it set up for the games. And yeah, HC, how are you doing? You are still ahead of birthday boy Gerald. So yeah, keep your lead. And even if Nikola's out, maybe you'll be like the Nuggets. You can still win. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching the Raptor Freak stream today. I am out. Happy New Year's. I hope everybody had a safe, happy celebration last night. Too bad that Zach Zarba wanted to be a Scrooge McDuck and say no good and the game is over. Honestly, NBA, you want to make the entertainment more entertaining. You want to make it feel good. Go towards the good vibes, the feeling good vibes. And why would you kill such amazing vibes in that arena that Nameless and Scott B and Monique and so many other people were feeling just by making a call like that. Come on, don't be such a Grinch. It's the holiday season. You could have made it just like, Brandon's amazing for making that shot like he did. And the old NBA would have rewarded him for it instead of penalizing him for having long fingernails. So that's what we get back to right there. Long fingernails. Isaac, you got Scotty on blast. Let's go. Dunk champion, Isaac Campbell, co-dunk champion with Kareem Thomas. Let's go. I'll see y'all tomorrow for the Friday freakout. Let's go, Raptors. Woo! Yeah, 2026.